This is Fanden and Morgoth from Heimland, and welcome to the Tampa Morgue.
What's up? This is Tony, and you're listening to the Tampa Morgue Season 2, Episode number 90. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host from his studio deep in Tampa Bay, Florida, the rat executioner himself, Mr. Ed Webb. What's up, dude?
Rat bastard here. What's up, Mr. Anderson?
How many bodies have you collected during the week?
7.
7 rats.
7. We're on
I'm
a
sure
roll,
there's people
man.
that feel bad for rats, right? I mean...
My daughter, she's like, that's a living creature. I go, cool, well, then I'll just open a hole in your roof and they can come on in. She's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Here we are back on the Tampa Morgue, episode number 90. I think we just did an episode maybe 2 or 3 days ago. We recorded one, but, we have another one for you guys. We opened up the show with Heimland, with the song Heimland from 2019 that came out. And we have Morgoth and Fanden coming on today. They'll be on here in about 20 minutes. And as we always say, we're going to try to keep the intro short. Doesn't always work that way, but, what's going on, Mr. Webb?
Nothing really. It's hot. I'm looking forward to a vacation in less than a month.
Yeah, where are you guys going again?
Orlando. I rented a house. It's got a pool. Everybody gets their own bedroom. It's got a fucking garage with like pool tables and all kinds of shit in there. It's cool.
Going from the house of the rats to the house of the mouse.
You got it, man.
Orlando.
No, we're not going to Disney. No Disney. That's too expensive.
No Disney.
Shit is ridiculous.
Yes, it is, man. But we, like Ed, we've been so busy. Like we really have, like, there's so much stuff going on for the show that we have like 4 different bands we're talking to right now. We're trying to figure out a bunch of different stuff. We have a band that might have an interpreter with them. So that'll be, if we do this, it'll definitely be a challenge, but you know, I guess never say never.
What do they say? Load this horse up, you know, load the trailer up. This horse will pull it. We'll pull it, man. I mean, fuck, some of the shit we've had to do on this show already. Might as well try an interpreter. Why not?
Yeah,
just add it to the list of fun, you know?
Yeah. So we're not going to mention any of the bands because nothing's 100% confirmed. We got a couple bands from Brazil. We're trying to convince a band from Germany who Ed's had played with in the past, toured with. Just the language barrier is pretty rough.
Japan.
And where else do we have? There's one
Japan.
more. Japan. Yeah, that's what I said. I think I said Japan, right?
You said Germany.
Oh, did I? Yeah. So Japan. And then we have someone from another band from tonight's band is from Norway, Heimland, but we actually have another band we're talking to. It's another Norwegian band too. So the best place to find out that information is on the Instagram. When we book it, we will put it up there. You know, but again, we thank everyone for listening. Ed, I have, like we were talking about before the show, we're kind of going to try to keep it short. I looked at the news. I didn't see much, though. I did see something that made me think of you, because the last time I saw them was with you. I see that Lemmy got a statue over in England.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely cool.
Good for him.
I know. You know, you don't realize, like, he died in 2015. If you think about that, that's 10 years ago now.
I know. It doesn't seem like it was that long when we were driving up there, because I remember my cousin was like, I got tickets if you want to come see Motorhead, because she worked at the House of Blues. And I was like, I don't know. You know, making the trek to Orlando, I've done it a bunch of times. You know, I saw Wasp there for, you know, she always gives me free shit. So I saw Wasp there years ago and a bunch of shit. And then when I told you, you're like, dude, we should probably go. And I was looking at him and I saw that he was sick. And I was like, dude, we this may be the last time we see Lemmy. And sure enough, 3 weeks later, he was dead. So I'm glad we did, because it was 2 weeks later. He died December.
No, he died on December 28th.
Yeah, we saw him at like
2015.
The 12th.
We saw him September 25th at the House of Blues. It was
September.
Yeah, because they played. So they only played after we saw them. I think they only played one more U.S. show, and that was in Pompano Beach. Then they did the motorboat cruise.
So it was a couple months after.
Yeah, so a couple months after.
I thought it was like sooner.
Yeah, and we know we had seen, you know, we were fortunate because Motorhead had played in Florida before. I actually remember when they were rehearsing, we got to go watch them at Boomers rehearse. Like before they did that, I don't know what festival that was in Pinellas they played, but they played in Pinellas at a festival. What the hell name? I can't not remember what that was. It was out in that park over there.
Steel and Sun?
No, not Sun and Steel. That was before that.
Steel.
Yeah, that was before that. But
yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, but Ed, you got us tickets for that last time that we.
Yeah, it was killer, man. It was killer.
We saw them at the House of Blues. It was the 40th anniversary tour for them, and it was September 25th, 2015. And like you said, he passed away on December.
Don't ask me who opened. Couldn't remember.
I can't remember the name of the band. But then after that, I think that they went, like I said, they went to Pompano Beach and played another show, did the motorboat cruise, then went out to Germany, Sweden, Finland, and Norway, and that was it. I think that was the last things they did. A couple shows were canceled on that tour, even at the end. But yeah, so that's besides that, I saw the statue went up, which is very cool. I know they have one at the Rainbow too inside. Yeah. So that, you know, that was going on. And besides that, man, I don't know. Do you have any shows coming up that?
Just a shitty one I'm going to see tonight.
Ed's excited about this one. So I saw Saturday, May 17th, the Wacken metal battles going on again at the Brass Mug, $20. Wire Throne, Corrupted Saint, Pontifex, Voidrium.
Yeah, Varinger.
That's right.
James, that used to drum in Hideous, was the drummer for them back in the day. He's not anymore, but he was.
Okay, so Varinger, and that's 1450 Skipper Road at the Brass Mug. So that's going on the 17th, which is Saturday. And then I also saw AC/DC's playing at Raymond James. I've actually heard like really good things about that tour too, that they sound great and stuff. So
Metallica's playing in what? They're playing the 6th and the 8th of June, which is like literally 3 days before I leave. And I was talking to Bryce this morning. I think I'm going to get fucking tickets for the day before we leave.
Where's that, Raymond James or?
Yeah. because I really want to see Suicidal.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And Bryce has never seen Metallica, and he's like, I don't want to hear none of that stupid new shit. And I looked at their set list, and they're really only playing a couple new songs either night.
Bryce, look, how old's Bryce talking?
22.
Right.
Well, because
He's
you know,
right,
because when we're in the car, they're always playing the new stuff off that Lux Eternal and whatever that other.
I haven't
and
heard
dude, it's just I can't take James singing. I'm sorry, but when I hear a guy that I grew up with, that I grew up watching live, grunt and growl and be a fucking front man to a guy who's literally out there just singing, it just, I don't know, man. I know there's some guys out there like James forever. Robin would fucking kill me for saying any of this shit, but like, I can't. It doesn't hit the same. But
so when did one come out? When did that video? Was that 89?
88.
Because that was. Do you remember? Maybe 88. Yeah, because you remember that came out, and that was the thing in high school. Like one video, that's it ever. Like, and I thought that was, of course, like it was
based off that movie too. So they
Johnny got his gun.
Yeah.
So I go back, like for me, it's after Justice, I stopped listening to them. I didn't like the Black Album, but I understand people who are born certain time periods and stuff like that. But I remember when one came out, I thought it was a cool thing because they were like, I was like, maybe on MTV I saw it. They're like, yeah, one video. And then I thought the video was great with the black and white footage from Johnny Got His Gun and stuff.
Well, and when the breakdown came up, they were all, doing the Metallica headbang. And to be honest with you, from Cliff, when he passed on, I mean, Cliff was a great stage presence, but if we're talking true stage, Jason really brought them to life. Like, I don't care what people say. I know Cliff Burton's a great bass player, and he's probably one of the best Metallica ever had. But if you want to talk about all around people who fit in the band, Jason was the guy that brought life back to them. I thought that would, that's just my opinion. And he could play. The guy can play bass. So, he plays with a pick. Who gives a shit? I played with a pick for most of my life. Who gives a shit? That's why I started playing with a pick, was because I watched him and Phil Rind from Sacred Reich, because they fucking played. And if you listen to the music, you can hear the bass. Like, listen to the first 3 Metallica records. Do you really hear bass? Not really, right? Or Flotsam and Jetsam. Go listen to the No Place for Disgrace that he was on. You can hear the bass all over that record and how good he is. So but I've just made a decision. I'm like, fuck it, man. I'm gonna go.
I mean, if I
Pantera, we'll get to see Pantera again. I saw him already. Or whatever you want to call him, if it's Pantera. But and of course, Suicidal, man. And I haven't seen Suicidal Tendencies. Has to be 15 years. I don't remember the last time they were in Florida.
Last time I saw them might have been with Exodus, and I could be wrong. It was a 3-bill. It was either, I want to say it was like Slayer, Exodus, and Suicidal, but it could have been Exodus, Suicidal, and Megadeth even. I don't even remember. It was in Orlando. It was a long time ago.
I was at that show. I don't think it was Slayer, but I remember what show you're talking about.
Yes, I know it was Suicidal, and
I saw him at Janus Landing in the early days. Belching Penguins opened up, and somebody jumped on stage and tried to take Mike Muir's bandana off, and he fucking lost it, man. You remember how he used to be about that bandana?
Yeah.
He threw that motherfucker off the stage. I've never seen somebody get launched into the crowd before like that. That was fucking epic. But cool, they're great. They're great live. They're great live.
Yeah, Suicidal. I mean, like I said, Metallica, my cutoff was, but that was just me. Like everybody had, that was Justice. I always say that to Ed too. I'm like, after that, I actually knew. I'll tell you, when I saw it, I remember I think they world premiered it in the daytime. I want to say in the afternoon, the Enter Sandman video, and I was over in Beechwood, New Jersey. I was living at that time period, and I remember seeing it and just knowing. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I just wasn't into it, and but everyone's
Bob Rock killed him.
Yeah, that's what they say.
It's a fucking fact.
I remember seeing that documentary. It was pretty rough. I have some releases. I don't know if you have any releases, Ed, but I say we do this. We can get the guys from Heimland on, because I'm sure we're going to hang out for a while. Heimland's a band from Norway that I saw. They were on tour with Asagraum and Taake, and they played here in Vilnius a couple weeks ago. Talked to a couple of the guys I talked to Eric and Glover, I believe it was, at the merch booth, and then set up, kind of went back and forth, and they're going to come out and hang out today. So we're going to talk to them and find out about Heimland. Do you have any releases, or should I go first?
You go first. I'm always the last.
Anybody who sends these in to us, we appreciate it. I got some for next week too, so I kind of split them up a little bit because sometimes, I have like 15 of these things. But Come Beast from Finland, Fairy Tales of Filth, Morbid Generation is the record label from Germany, formed in 2005, demo in 2005. Their debut, Human Pinata, came out in 2006. Fairy Tales of Filth will be the band's 7th full length. Let me see here. It has 9 tracks on it. So, Ed, you're going to appreciate some of these track names. Captain Cock, Ghost Fuckers. Let me see here. Spermafrost and Come Commando. So that's some of the tracks on that one. And Fairy Tales of Filth is out May 12th on Morbid Generation. Let me see here. Medico Peste from a Polish black metal band. Aesthetic of Hunger is the name of this one. A label, Malignant Voices out of Poland. Band formed in 2010, first demo in 2011. This will be the band's 3rd full length, and a follow-up to 2020 is The Black Bile. This one comes out on May 15th. Pandemia out of Czechia, death metal band. Darkened Devotion is the name of this one on Hammerheart Records out of the Netherlands. Band formed in 1995, put out their first demo in 95 also. This will be the band's 6th full length. They've also put out 3 demos and 2 splits. This one comes out again May 16th on Hammerheart Records. Up next is Anthropomorphia out of the Netherlands, a death metal band. Devoid of Light is the name of this record. Testimony Records out of Germany. Let me see here. This will be their 6th full length. They formed in 89. First demo, Bowel Mutilation, in 92. Put out an EP in 93, and their debut came out in 98, the full length. This one features members past and present of Flesh Made Sin, Solutions, Age of Agony, and Villainy. This one comes out on May 16th on Testimony Records. Executionist from West Virginia, death thrash metal band. Sacrament of the Sick is the name of the record. It's going to be self-released. They formed in 2020. They put out an EP in 2021. This has 10 tracks, and this one comes out May 16th. And then we have Shed the Skin out of Ohio, death metal band. The Carnage Cast Shadows. This one comes out on Hell's Headbangers. This band formed in 2011. Debut EP, Rebirth Through Brimstone. Members past and present of Sinister, Acheron, Ringworm, Solus, and Crucified Mortals. The Carnage Cast Shadows will be the band's 5th full length and comes out May 16th on Hell's Headbangers. A couple more, and then we'll get to Ed and see what he's got, and then we'll get the guys from Heimland on. Cadaver Shrine out of the Netherlands. Death doom metal band. Into the Horrible Depths is the name of the record. Chaos Records out of Mexico is the label. Cadaver Shrine formed in 2022. Put out a demo in 2022. One-man band, Maurice Dijon, if I'm saying that name right. And let me see here. This one comes out May 16th again on Chaos Records. Helldrifter out of Germany, death metal band. Shell in Existence is the name of the record. Violent Creek Records out of Germany is what it's coming out on. Helldrifter formed in 2018. They put out a debut in 2021 and an EP in 2024. Shell of Inexistence has 10 tracks and will be out May 16th on Violent Creek Records. One more, Sudden Death out of Italy, a death metal band. Incinerate. See what they did there? Incinerate. It's Time to Kill Records out of Italy is who they're putting it out with. Band formed in 97, ended in 2009, and then reformed in 2011. Debut full length came out in 2002, titled Devoured Inside. Band has no original members. Members past and present of The Undertakers, Sky Mob, Blood Truth, and Chaos Ring. Incinerate comes out on May 19th, again on Time to Kill Records out of Italy. And Ed, what do you have?
Those were some good ones, man.
I like those names, right?
I do. Come Beast is my favorite. Yeah. The new Behemoth, we've talked about this. Not a fan of the title, but I think it's just silly. But
I think we've announced it like three weeks in a row too.
Of God. No, it just came out this week.
Yeah, the release date's this week.
Yeah, me and you have talked about it personally.
Yeah.
And they've been playing it on like Liquid Metal. I mean, they're getting blasted on Liquid Metal. Good for them. I mean, Behemoth.
I haven't heard any of this stuff.
We've talked about their live show, and one thing's for sure, Nurgle is just a genius. He's fucking.
Last time I saw them was with you at Cannibal. It was Cannibal Corpse and Tribulation,
which is crazy, right? Because they've. I don't know if they've played Florida since then.
I'm not sure.
I can't think that because I would have seen them if they played Tampa or anywhere close, unless, I'll drive a little bit, but, like you drove to Orlando for Wasp.
Yeah.
I would have done that had we not stayed out till 2 in the morning the night before. But yeah, it was definitely crazy. But the other band is another band we've talked about that I truly do not understand, but they are huge, is Sleep Token.
I did check them out for
even
I
in
wasn't
Arcadia
into it, but check
is
them
the name of the record. I mean, again, I don't know what you would characterize them as. I mean, they play heavy at times. I just don't know what kind of genre.
Their name's definitely out there because I hear it other places too.
It's everywhere. Yeah. It's like Ghost. To me, those two names are just like everywhere. Like when you say something, it's like, oh, Sleep Token, oh, Ghost. And again, we're not shitting on the bands. I don't know what you would classify Sleep Token. Like, I don't know what that would be.
Yeah.
Like, it's not death metal for sure. I mean, it's not. But heavy metal, I mean, I don't know what, but they're huge, and they're on every festival I've seen. They're everywhere. So, and I know when they played Tampa, it was sold out. So
yeah, I checked. I think last week when you mentioned them a bunch of times, like I said, their name I'm hearing now, like in other places, So,
but that's it. That's the only two that I saw that came out. That's it.
Wow. So we're gonna actually keep it. I do have some musicians who passed away sent to us too. I'll mention them really fast, and then we're gonna get to the guys from Heimland. Tony Lytle, if I'm saying that right, from Avenger and Blitzkrieg, guitar player, passed away last week. Daniel Caesar from Portugal, 45 years old, keyboardist for Guidon is the name of the band. And then Daniel Gasca from Mexico, guitar player, Luciferiam. And then Casey McKinney from guitar player for Dead Rising and Wombbreaker passed away. So those are the musicians we lost this week that were sent to us. We appreciate everybody again who sends us this information. And Ed, what do you think? Should we get to the guys from Heimland?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we're going to play Fimbulvinter. That's just from the EP titled Fimbulvinter from 2021. This is Heimland, and we're going to be back after this track on the Tampa Morgue with the guys from Heimland. We'll be back. And that was Heimland with Fimbulvinter off of the 2021 EP. And we want to welcome Carl, a.k.a. Morgoth, and Eric, a.k.a. Fanden of Heimland.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out. And so I was, talking to you guys before we started recording, and I actually just became aware of the band probably a couple weeks ago. I went to go see Taake, and you guys actually opened up the show, and I was impressed. Talked to you over at the merch booth and set this up, and I'm glad you guys took the time to come on.
Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. We hadn't really played any shows outside of Norway before the Taake tour, so it kind of makes sense that like no one outside of Norway really knows about us in any real way. Like someone has probably heard some Spotify or like the algorithm, but yeah, it's very good to kind of get out of the old venues that we've played a bunch of times and like go see new audiences, like spread the gospel, etc.
How did you guys get involved onto that tour? I know you played with Taake in 2023 was the last time before this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we are kind of from the same city, and some of us are kind of drinking buddies already. Like the us and the guys in Taake. But I don't know specifically. Carl, do you remember?
Yeah. The thing is, we regularly bump into Hust, like when we're out drinking, like Eric mentioned, and we also talk usually regularly to Vegondo, the bass player in Taake, and we talked earlier, like spitballing, like it would be cool to join you guys on tour someday, and it'd be like, yeah, it would be great to have you guys on board, and so it's, and then we got like we heard from Hust that they were going on tour this year. So we contacted the booking agency for Taake, and didn't get any reply. We were like, hey guys, we heard that Taake is going on tour. What's the, is it possible to be able to join tour and stuff? But we didn't get any reply. And then we kind of forgot about the whole thing. Fast forward a couple of months, and we suddenly get an email from the booking agency like, hey, Taake mentioned that they want to have you guys with them on the DOEDSKVAD anniversary tour through Europe, and the tour is in like 2 months, and we need a confirmation if you want to join the tour like by Friday. So it was kind of like fell into our lap pretty suddenly. And we needed to discuss back and forth a little bit, like with the money and everything. But we figured out that it wasn't that big of an expense. So we said yes, and it was very like suddenly. So it was supposed to be that because we're playing the same in Leipzig, we played at Hellraiser venue. And we're supposed to play a festival later this year called Black Hole Fest at that same venue. And that was supposed to be our first gig abroad initially. But then suddenly we're going on this European tour. So kind of jumped the gun a little bit on that one.
You guys did what, 10 shows, 6 countries on that one?
Yeah.
So personally for you guys, have you guys, like, outside of the band, had either of you been to, like, I know you guys did Poland, you guys played Czech, Denmark and stuff. Had you guys been to these places prior?
No.
No, not like professionally.
But you had been there before, just in general?
I'd been to Denmark, but yeah, not a big traveler.
And speaking of Denmark, you guys had some tire problems heading to the next venue from Denmark?
Yeah, we were stuck like 3 hours away from Erfurt when we were coming back to Germany, and I was talking to Vegandrin, like the bassist and Taake and frontman of Helheim, and it was like I've been doing this for 25 years, and it's good for you that you get this kind of like
suffer by fire.
yeah, exactly, like this early on, because I've never experienced being this late to a gig, because it was what, Easter, like it was Good Friday or something, and it was impossible to get a hold of a mechanic, and once we got a hold of a mechanic, they wouldn't touch the bus because it was like, if we fuck this up and blah blah blah, like it's like if we mess with the tires and like something's like is fucked up, then we are liable and like a bunch of stuff. So it was kind of stressful, and I think like we as a band, obviously, like Taake and Asagraum have toured before. They know when stuff like that happens, that you as an artist can't, there's nothing you can do, so you just have to kind of accept that it's out of your hands and like let the tour manager Tomasz, who did such a good job for us and for Taake and for the entire tour, what a great guy. He was like working his ass off trying to get all the like make all the stuff fixed, and we were just kind of like hanging outside of the bus. We tried to grab the opportunity to go to a nearby like shopping outlet thing, to get like toothpaste and cigarettes, and we were like, okay, so we've been stuck out here in like bumfuck nowhere for 4 hours. I'm sure it's going to be fine if I take like 20 minutes to go down the road, get some fucking essentials, and come back. And then like we enter the store. Is it Tesco? I think it was Tesco in Germany. We're there for maybe 1.5 minutes, and then we get the text like, the tire is on, come back to the bus immediatso
you guys are running down the road.
Yep. Toothpaste in hand, cigarettes in mouth. So yeah, that was great. But I think maybe that's the tour date that I'm like the most proud of out of the whole thing. So like
me too.
Because we like by the time we got to the venue, we were 8 hours late. The doors had opened like 3 hours ago. Most of the people, like, it was still pretty full. It didn't seem like people had been like, okay, fuck this, and then gone home. So people were still there waiting. And then we got out the bus, maybe 40 minutes or something from the time we get out of the bus until we go on stage. So it was very much like a team effort, where it's like, okay, everyone out of the bus immediately, and then we rush out, get all the like, do the load in, like rig the stage as quickly as possible, get the makeup on, blah blah blah, and it went really smoothly. And the show, like, we had to cut like almost half our set, as did like Asagraum and Taake had to cut all the like extra numbers, so they only got to do
Taake cut like almost half an hour of their set as well.
Yeah, 100%. But like, it was great, and the energy was really, really good for the whole gig, and everyone was super pleased. And it was Germany. We sold like a lot of merch in Germany.
Half of the merch we sold was in the 2 dates in Germany. Like
100%.
they bought everything, man. We were sold out of almost all the CDs, and the vinyls were sold out, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
of
the
the types
CDs
of
were gone.
t-shirts.
I think
Yeah.
in Vilnius, I think there was no CDs left.
Nope.
No,
I think in
patches
Vilnius
were
we only
gone.
had I think we only had t-shirts and the 7 inches
Yeah.
left. Yeah, they're a very generous people, the Germans. They got a lot of stuff, gave us a lot of their money. So yeah, would definitely go back. Looking forward to the next effort, the Black Hole Festival.
Great promoter as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Frank, the guy who owns the venue, really a great guy.
The guys from Taake were telling you it's probably a good experience, right? To get under your belt. Like you go on your first tour, you blow your first tire, you deal with all that bullshit. You have to shorten the set, and you guys, like you said, there was no sound check too, right? You guys just hopped up there.
Yeah, just line check.
Oh, we didn't even have a line check. It was like just plug in, and if there's sound, we play. So we didn't even have. I don't think we had like monitor sound until like the third song or something. It was the guys were like doing the EQs and stuff while we were playing the first song. So it was pretty intense. But I remember feeling very like bad for all the audience. Feeling a lot of like feeling very responsible, like Eirik talked about earlier. And the whole 2 hours to the venue, I was just really stressed. I felt really bad, and I thought we were going to come to an empty venue. Everyone has just left and went home, but I don't think almost anyone went home, and people were in a good mood, and it was a great evening, like one of the better evenings of the tour, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we just like went off stage after the show and felt like we really pulled something off. Like this really worked, and we played a good show, and the people were happy. And I remember, and a lot of that comes down to that the audience like kept their energy up, even though it was like 2.5, 3 hours of just waiting. I don't want to talk shit, but it seemed like, because we were getting messages on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like, where are you? Like, where are you? You're supposed to be here now. Weren't you supposed to go on stage like a half hour ago? And so like it didn't seem to me like the audience had gotten the word that we were running late and we were like coming as soon as possible, but we were having car troubles or bus troubles.
Yeah.
But they like, I remember I went on to check the mic right before we started the gig, and it was like not very professional, like coming on like makeup half on, and I come out, do like a quick like to test the mic, and like I just said the name of the town, and like everyone was just like, yeah, let's go. So yeah, the fucking props to Germany for being good sports and like keeping the energy alive, even though we were super late.
I mean, to be fair, we were 4 hours late. That's 4 hours of drinking that they
That's
had
true.
done.
Yeah, they're probably
pretty soused when we got to the got to the venue.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing though, because that makes
Absolutely.
better energy and yeah.
Did you guys notice? I mean, I know you guys, it was 6 countries. Did you guys notice, like, what was the difference in some of the crowds? Was there a certain crowd? Like, I always hear if you play Belgium, it's a different reaction than playing this town or that town. Did you guys notice a difference as you guys were changing countries?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Germany was, like, Germany won.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
I was kind of, I don't know, I'm fucking seeing my musical career like flash before my eyes now, but I was super disappointed by Poland, because we were kind of promised that Poland is super into black metal. Everyone in Poland loves black metal, and I'm sure they do, but the crowds were very quiet and static when we were playing. But to be fair, maybe like, I don't know, beer is more expensive in Poland than in Germany, I guess. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the show that stood out to me as the one with the worst crowd was probably in Bratislava. But I feel like there were probably...
wasn't that like a Tuesday as well?
Yeah, and also that was like that That was the beer barrel urinal.
Right, yeah,
Nice.
the beer keg urinals.
Beer
yeah,
keg
yeah,
urinals,
yeah.
They were actually beer. Were they actually beer keg urinals?
Yeah, and like
cut in half.
the whole bathroom was just like the sink, the urinals. I want to say the toilets, but probably not. Were just like repurposed beer kegs, and it was all like Heineken or some shit. And it was. I remember I came in. I think I posted it to Instagram, like just a video of the whole thing, and I was like, this is such terrible taste, but such great execution. Like, this is terrible, but it's so well done.
I know Eric's actually heard a couple episodes that we've done, so it's kind of how we do things around here. You're one of the first bands that, you know, like I said, I really didn't know much about Heim. I didn't know anything about you guys until I saw you. Very impressed. Want to get you guys on here. And the history, like I said, there's not a lot of history out there. So hopefully we can actually bring some to light today, so people who are getting into the band can find out some stuff that's not out there. So I'm going to start out like really early, man. Are you guys both born in the same town? And if not, like, where are you guys each from?
Kinda. I'm like, we both live in Bergen, Norway now. I was born like an hour north in like on a farm, which is very good lore wise, I think. Not very good for personal development, but it looks good on the black metal CV.
Yeah.
Carl is from like downtown
middle
Bergen,
of the like middle of the city center, basically.
Yeah,
born and
something
raised.
can represent.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about ages. Like, me and Ed are obviously a few years older than you guys, but you guys are what? You're all in your 20s right now. Everybody in the band.
Yeah.
Soon not to be.
Welcome to the club, man. It only gets worse, dude.
Yeah, I can feel it in my back already.
Yeah, it only gets worse. You know,
Yeah.
I'm getting up there, and Ed's like the crypt keeper of the show. We always say, because he's the oldest of all of us. So
forgot
he's like
more
the
than
dad.
you'll ever know, though.
Yeah. So you know, and are you guys both from like musical households? We can start with you, Carl, then Eric.
No, I'm definitely not from a musical household in any way, shape, or form. I would say, like, I mean, my mother's side of the family is very like music interested. They're going to concerts and listening to music, and my grandfather is a pretty decent guitar player. But I would say I was never like encouraged to play any instruments as a kid, and I was actually like, I'm the bass player, and I started playing bass guitar before I started playing regular guitar, and it was all like self-taught. Just wanted to play an instrument. Found an old bass guitar that I don't remember even where I got it from, but started practicing songs like Metallica songs, I think, and just looking at YouTube videos and tabs and stuff, practicing a lot, and but I didn't start playing instruments until I was like 16, I think, was when I started playing bass. So it's like 7 years ago now. Yeah, I'm 23, so 7 years ago.
How about you, Eric?
I would say that I'm definitely from a kind of musical family. Everyone in my family except me and my brother and my mom, to be fair, are play in brass bands. So it's like I was in my school's brass band for like 10 years, from the age of 9 to 19. Played tuba. So that was I don't think there's a lot of connection there, because I hated it the whole time. But I guess there's maybe some like basic music knowledge that's like applicable to, like, the concept of like a crescendo and keeping time and blah 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 is kind of the same throughout all kinds of music. But I remember, like, my dad is very into music wise and kind of influence wise, and my dad was very into like Yes and Genesis and kind of a lot of like proggy,
Prog, right?
yeah, and Pink Floyd and blah blah blah, and also a lot of ABBA. But I remember he, like, one of the first like when I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 or 6, because my dad has the album "Bad Out of Hell" by Meatloaf, and I remember seeing the cover.
The most misleading cover there ever
I know!
was. I talk about this all the time on this fucking show. Actually,
Yeah.
You think when you get in that cover, you just think that's like that's like back those days. You think it's like an Ozzy Osbourne album or something.
Yeah. But with the guy on the motorcycle that's like busting out of a crypt with this giant monster bat that's coming out on top. Yeah, it's incredibly misleading. Is that the one that has "I would do anything for love, but I won't do that"?
It has a dashboard light on there, right, Ed?
Yeah.
I don't know I think that one's a later album with
that
I
might
would do anything for love, I believe.
Yeah, but I just remember like putting that on and being super disappointed. Like before I really knew anything about music or metal or anything, but I was just like, this is gonna be so intense, and then it's like piano.
To correct you, "I Would Do Anything for Love" is "Bad Out of Hell 2." Which is just as misleading. The cover is just as misleading. Yeah.
Yeah, but, that's when covers you went by. Like, I remember as a young kid, man, anything Iron Maiden, I see the covers. You got to have that. You got to have this. It's Slayer, that was like a whole new level and stuff. I mean, hey, Carl, do you remember the first kind of bands you got into, like when you first start like recognizing, whether it's from AC/DC to whatever, Pink Floyd or whatever? Do you remember the first thing that kind of caught your attention as a kid?
Yeah, definitely. The first album I wanna mention is definitely "Osmosis" by Ozzy Osbourne. That's the one that got me into heavier music, like Perry Mason and Thunder Underground, and there's so many cool tracks on that album. And from there, it was definitely Iron Maiden. That was the big band for me, like as a young metalhead. Was the huge Maidenhead, always been, and got into some thrash like Metallica and Megadeth and stuff, but definitely Iron Maiden has always been the big band for me when it comes to like getting into heavier music as a younger kid.
Do you guys remember the first actual record you guys purchased?
Powerslave.
High Voltage AC/DC.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, because we're going to talk. I know Eric's not a death metal guy, so we're going to get to that in a minute too. Because we were talking a little bit before the show. You're punk and the folky black metal and stuff. But do you guys remember? Like you mentioned Iron Maiden, basic Carl, as kind of your progression into the heavier stuff. So I guess like Eric, what would be your from obviously you mentioned ABBA and Meatloaf and stuff like this. But what is your next?
I think because this is kind of funny because I was talking to Leif, the guitarist in Taake, and he saw my last name and he remembered that he went to school with a guy called Frode, who has the same last name as me, and he was like, "Are you guys like related, or do you guys know each other?" And I said, "Yeah, like he's like we were neighbors growing up. He's like some distant cousin somewhere." And he was like, "Okay, cool," because he's the reason that I play guitar, because he showed me Guns N' Roses, and that's like when it all clicked. And I was like, he showed me Guns N' Roses too. So yeah, Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, that was definitely like a turning point for me, with like the kind of groovy riffing and the like soaring guitars and blah blah blah. Also, the Black Album, like I feel like all the albums that I was super into when I was a kid are kind of like they're not very interesting because they're very kind of it's just like popular. Whereas like Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, Black Album by Metallica, like that kind of stuff. For the Live Wire by Motley Crue, more hair metal that I'm or like glam stuff that I'm strictly proud of. But yeah, definitely like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, Metallica.
Well, those first two Crue records are excellent. I mean, for me, like Shout Out the Devil and Too Fast for Love are great records. Now, it's funny because with your ages, it makes sense. Like you're into the Black Album. Well, that makes sense because when you were younger, that's what was, for us, we were obviously way before that when Metallica was considered to be, a nasty band, I guess, which completely changed through the years. So that makes total sense.
Yeah.
What was the first gig you guys each went to?
It's Guns N' Roses again.
Yeah,
they did the super terrible tour with when it was just like Axl Rose and like
Buckethead or Bumblefoot.
yeah
and-
Bumblefoot
yeah.
and DJ Ashba and like the whole
Was that when they were like 2-3 hours late
yep
in Åsane?
yep.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
heard
I
about
remember
that.
it was because it was late May and it was so warm inside because it was totally packed. So like the sweat was like evaporating and then like condensing in the roof and dripping down on us again. It was terrible. It sucked. Not a great show. No, not at all. And my next one was Aussie and Friends at Kuangan in 2014, I think. So yeah, those are my first few.
How about you, Carl?
I mean, I remember going to see Aha. You know Aha?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember I went to see them at their like 5th or 6th farewell tour that they've done, probably. In a stadium concert in Bergen when I was like 8 years old or something. This was 2009, I think. And but the first like metal show I went to was Iron Maiden in 2016. Was the Book of Souls World Tour in Oslo with my dad. That was a big deal. And I remember Ghost was the warm up. Ghost, also a band that's definitely in the like transitioned from lighter music to heavier music. Something that I listen to quite a bit. So, great lineup.
And what are some of the venues you guys are hitting as teenagers in Norway?
Garage, definitely. Kind of now deceased. I was about to say it's been shut down, but it used to be like a very kind of legendary venue in town where like I think Nirvana played there back in the day, and
No,
it's this
they were booked to play,
they were booked to play.
but then they were booked right before Nevermind, and then the huge
Okay,
breakthrough, and then it was like dangerous to have such a small
right.
venue. But Rihanna has played at the Garage.
Rihanna,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah,
Muses play there too, I think.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like this very kind of small, clubby, like rocky venue, which is like it has a lot of charm, and it's like it was kind of a great kind of equalizer in the music scene because you like again like Ghost and Muse and apparently Rihanna would play on the same stage as like youth fucking like Battle of the Bands, like mini not serious bands at all. Yeah, it's definitely kind of a loss to the scene that Garage has shut down. That's where I saw, I think, my first like proper metal concert. Although I can't remember who I saw. Oh, that's really frustrating. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's like the one big one. There's also one called Hulen, which is very like the cave, which is a repurposed like bomb shelter.
I saw some video of you guys playing there.
Right? Yeah. We've played almost all of the gigs that we've played before have been they're the only ones that'll book us. But yeah, I think it's the main kind of feeling in the metal scene in Bergen is that like more and more venues are shutting down. More like the housing market is terrible, and like it's more and more difficult to turn a profit on rock music. So like it's fewer and fewer places are willing to stay open and appeal to like a musician or like venue type audience, and most of them either have to like gradually move over from rock music in general and just like appeal to whatever they know will sell out, and yeah, so it's very difficult for new up and coming bands to find good venues to play at. It's basically just Hulen left.
Now, are you guys getting hit with the merch fees? Ed, what is the percentage in the States you guys are basically paying when you guys do tours?
Depends on the venue. The venue sets the rate. It's not the actual tour. So some venues we've had none, like little 10%. Then others, I mean, I've seen 30, 35%, which is ridiculous.
Jesus
Sucks.
We didn't do because in Poland we had to pay to sell merch, but we didn't do a percentage. We did like a flat rate where it was like 20 euros, and then you can sell as much merch as you want to.
Right, okay.
And I don't think we didn't make that money back. I don't think we didn't sell a lot of stuff. In Poland.
we made it back. We did make it back, but it's like the merch sales, like in outside, especially on the latter half of the tour, where we had like sold out of basically everything.
Yeah.
And we only had 7 inches, which is like kind of niche, and we had the t-shirts. I think the one you're wearing right now, and it's and the Polish people were like kind of annoying to deal with as like merch buyers, because they would come up and they would like talk a lot and try on the merch, and then they would like leave. So it's like now we would just I stood here trying to sell you something for like 10 minutes, and and that happens like 4 times a night, 5 times a night.
Poland is really taking a beating in this.
Yeah, but I mean, what a fucking letdown.
You guys aren't going to be getting much fan mail from Poland.
Well, I told you about when we played Poland. I mean, you would think Monstrosity and Origin would be a big show for Poland, and my mom was born in Poland, so it was like, for me, it was a special thing, and it sucked. And I let them know it on stage too. I told them on stage, which
there
I don't.
Those are Polish listeners.
Well, I'm just saying, man. I told them, man, what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous, man. You got 2 ridiculously brutal bands up here, and you're standing there like you don't know what's going on. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was the last show of the tour too, so it was like really, really sucked for me, because that was the show I was looking forward to the most, and it was the most disappointing. So get it together, Poland. Let's go.
I mean, in defense of Poland, I have to say that Gdansk was a pretty good show.
Gdansk was pretty good, yeah.
And the crowd, it was a really, really good front row. And I remember, because there was B90, the venue is called. It's like in the docks in Gdansk. And I remember the stage was kind of. Usually we played club stages on the tour, like kind of similar to the one in Vilnius that you attended, or a little larger, but usually pretty close to the crowd. But this was like pretty elevated, and I remember like climbing down to, like, because some people wanted the set list, and it was like people were going crazy for set list and picks, and it was and headbanging a lot during the show, and it was that was a really good crowd. A lot of young people as well. Really good to see. Like a lot of like looked like 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, like moshing and headbanging and having a good time. So it was a pretty cool crowd in Gdansk. But Lublin and Bielsko-Biała was not as good.
Yeah, Bielsko-Biała got better, I would say, because we had
2 sets.
We had like Bielsko-Biała, shit went down. Like there was, without getting too far into it, but it was there was like issues with Taake's set, and we basically they had to postpone for a bit and do some changes to their set, and we were asked if we could, like, just to give us some more time, like, could you play a second show? We were like, yeah, sure. Like, we have maybe 4 songs that we haven't played, that we haven't rehearsed either, but like, let's do a quick playthrough in the bus, and we'll come back. And the second the second round, the energy was a lot better. It was obviously because people had been drinking a bit more and gotten limbered up.
That always helps.
Yeah, it does. And the vibes were really good. We did, and it also helped that we were a bit drunker as well. And we knew that this is not going to be like a very professional, very good and put together show. So let's like fucking like shirts off, tits out, like up on stage, makeup like halfway decent, and like we'll just play this kind of punky extra 20-minute set. And then at the end we were like, fuck it, we'll do the like this the last, like the closing number one more time. And we did, and it was really great. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it all kind of worked out in the end.
And you guys mentioned like back at home, the clubs closing down and stuff like that. A lot of them. Are you guys, do you like, so like for you guys at your ages, what are some of the record stores you guys are checking out back then in your area? And do you guys still have a lot of record stores left, or are you guys losing those also?
We basically have one.
We have more than one. We have a couple.
What's the other ones? We have Apollon, which is like a record shop / pub, which is great, and it's not going anywhere. They're going like it's gangbusters. They're making so much money now.
Yeah, but they only sell new records. They only sell like
right
new releases.
Right.
And,
yeah, we have some used record stores. As well.
And we have one called Samlaren, which means the collector, which is like a really, really good used record store right in the middle of the city center, like 5 minutes from where I live. Really nice people, and like they have a lot of niche stuff, and I've gotten some really, really good deals. Because Discogs, if you know Discogs, it is fucking ruined secondhand market buying. Everyone is just looking at Discogs, and the prices have gone way up for secondhand vinyls, so you're never making any good deals anywhere. But the collector, really, really good, and definitely recommend everyone visiting Bergen to go there. I've been delivering some vinyls from ours to that record store, so they've been selling our records. We also have one called Playcom, a little bit outside of Bergen, not like in between Bergen and on the farm where Eirik was born, you can say. Which is a good record store. It has a lot of good metal releases, and also we have one called Rokada, which is also a used record store. It's good if you like country music, I think, but it does not have a lot of the stuff that I listen to. They did have some Grateful Dead records, I remember, because I'm a huge Deadhead, so.
Oh really?
Always, yeah. I've tattooed Grateful Dead.
I didn't see that. There you go. Yeah.
And they have some Grateful Dead stuff, but not too much metal and stuff like that.
I was not aware that Playcom was still around.
Oh yeah, I think it is. They've moved.
Okay.
To the other half of the city center, like the other side of the parking lot in the second floor.
Okay. Because that used to be a big chain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they went bankrupt.
Yeah, but I think that one is like owned by one guy. So
yeah, makes sense. Oh, interesting.
And this is a really good record store. They have and also they have new records, and they have like secondhand markets where people can come and like sell their records at like a kind of a record fair inside the record store. Really cool.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of that over here. We actually have those. And you're right about the Discogs. Like, it's the prices. You could tell that even when you go to used record stores in the States, these little mom and pop places, they must be checking this site because you're seeing shit for like $80 that you're like, how do these people think this is, how do they know that on Discogs this is $80 to $60? You know, it's insane.
Yeah, 100%.
It's fucking annoying.
Eirik, you're into a lot of punk music. Were you guys also into a lot of the Norwegian bands, like obviously the Dark Thrones and the Gorgoroths and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Burzum and.
Yeah, 100%. I think we like Heimland is definitely very shaped by like the Norwegian black metal scene as a whole. Probably a lot more like West Coast stuff, like Taake and Djevel, I know is a big one, big influence for us. But also there's a lot of like Finnish influences, like Satanic Warmaster and stuff going
Sargeist,
big definitely
ones.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very into Dark Throne. I think Dark Throne, out of the Norwegian ones, is like my top one. I think musically they've never put a foot wrong. Like even when they delved into like the crust punk and the like revivalist new wave of British heavy metal type stuff. I would like to amend my previous statement. I'm not super into like the doom stuff that they've been pushing out for the few past albums. But I think like as far as staying true to the roots and like the original mission statement, I think Dark Throne is like one of the greats. Definitely.
And Carl, you were a death metal fan also.
Yeah, definitely had some past death metal. I mean, I wasn't really a black metal guy until I joined Heimland, like a little bit after I joined Heimland, actually. Was more into like thrash and death metal. Played in a thrash metal band and then a death metal band previously. But when it comes to the Norwegian scene, just to backtrack a little bit, I got to say for me it's like definitely Gorgoroth and Taake is also a big one. Like these West Coast black metal bands that have shaped my interest in the black metal scene as a whole. And I feel like if you listen to our album, it's very like apparent that it's a huge influences from both Gorgoroth and Taake and Djevel and Sargeist, obviously. It's like big ones.
And you mentioned your previous band, so you were in a death metal band called Contorted.
Yeah.
And you were also in a band called Undaunted.
Someone
correct?
has checked out Metallum.
We had to find out some information. You guys don't have a lot of information out there. Like I was actually telling Eric before you guys came on, I was like, man, there's not much press. But you were in Undaunted, and this is actually where you first actually met Thomas, right? At a gig in 2019. You guys were actually playing with Heimland?
Yeah. Christian, yeah. Our drummer.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because me and Oliver, or Alfar, the guitar player in Heimland, played together in Undaunted. It was like a death thrash project.
Yeah, I was checking out that Death Orb EP you guys did with the 4 songs on it actually yesterday.
Yeah.
Clear. It's like clean vocals, thrashy music.
Yes. Yeah. It's
okay.
It's okay. But yeah, we played together there. That's how we got to know each other. It was in high school, and I went to high school with some people that Oliver knew from before, and I mentioned to them that like because they were wearing band shirts and stuff, so I got into talking with them, and I mentioned that I play bass guitar and I'm learning bass guitar, and then they said like, oh, we know this guy called Oliver. He plays in a band called Undaunted, and I think they're looking for a bass player. So I'm gonna get you in contact with him. So we did, and I joined the band, and it was my first real band, and the last gig we played with that band was in early 2019, and early 2020. Sorry, and that was at Hul, the bomb shelter, repurposed bomb shelter, and together with like the previous iteration of Heimland, which where the only member that's still present is the drummer.
So then it was a 3-piece.
Well, I mean, there were 3-piece when we played together with them, yeah, and I think the 2 songs on Spotify that are like before Fimbulvinter, the self-titled song, and the Skog is with that 3-piece constellation of people.
So, and I guess so what I had read was they had Heimland lost the members, right? They had only the main guy left, and then Oliver replied to. So Oliver was in there a year before you were, Carl.
Yeah, like half a year.
So he replied to an ad, right, to get about they were looking for members and stuff, and obviously you're playing with him in Undaunted, so that kind of is how you get involved eventually, also.
Well, yeah, because the thing is that before we played that last show with Undaunted, I was like headhunted, you can say, or like the guys in a band called Psychopath, which was like a pretty decent sized thrash metal band
Yeah.
in Bergen at one point, like a pretty well known. Like had seen us play with Undaunted, were like looking for a bass player, so they contacted me, and I auditioned for them, and I was going to join that band. So right after the concert we played with Undaunted together with Heimland, I left the band, and the band kind of imploded because the drummer also was like, I don't really have time to play music, and so Oliver was the only one left, and I think he just kind of abandoned it as well. Didn't really have the motivation to keep it going by himself. So Undaunted ended in early 2020, I would say.
And Eric, is your first band? So, what was actually your first band you were ever in?
My first. Okay, so I when I was like 15, 16, I played in a really shitty Guns N' Roses cover band. That
what
like
was the name?
I don't even remember. I think we had like four different names. Like I think we played like 4 shows, all of them with a new band name. I think the last one was like Paradise Vendors or something, and I think the guitarist's mom had come up with it. So yeah, super serious, cool project that I'm really excited to tell people about.
That's what we do here.
But yeah, so that went tits up, and then a few years later, I joined a band that was, or like me and a friend put together a band that was called Children of Cain, and we were like all teenagers, like who didn't have a lot of like similarities in our music taste, that tried to like jam all this stuff together into like one cohesive package that didn't really work. But it was like, it's still on Spotify somewhere. It's called Children of Cain. It's like, it's okay. I don't think it's bad, but it just doesn't really make any sense. I don't think. It's very like kind of slightly, the vocals are very like hardcore punky, I think, and then the music is very proggy with some black and death influences. Doesn't make a lot of sense. There's like there's unmotivated clean vocals that shouldn't be there, and yeah, it's just kind of not very good. And then I think we moved to different parts of the country, and like the bassist had a baby, and here we are. And then I was like, I had moved away to go to school for a year, and then I came back, and I was really desperate to get back into music and playing bands again. But I didn't really play any instruments, and I just did vocals, and I didn't have a very impressive vocalist CV, so no bands were interested in taking me on. I remember being super frustrated because at the time, almost like it was super like not trendy necessarily, but all of the new bands that I saw uh, didn't have like the guitarist would do the vocals, and I was like, fucking, they're the job market, it's collapsing.
It's like self-checkout now at a
Yeah,
grocery
exactly.
store.
100%. And then I didn't do anything. I dabbled in like music journalism for a while. I wrote for I had a podcast with a friend of mine who's the vocalist of a like melodic, like symphonic black metal band called East Tone, which is really good and people should check out. And yeah, we had a podcast together. That was okay. Not like anything revolutionary. I think it's like everything apart from the last couple of episodes has been taken down because we stopped paying our SoundCloud stuff. And then I like during COVID, I decided that I was gonna give this like band thing another shot, and I was getting super into Hellripper, the band Hellripper.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Where it's just like James McBain who records his stuff at home.
Because that's where Uhyre comes, right? Because that was at first was a solo project for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then I made a few demos, sent them to Mats, who plays drums in Contorted and now Uhyre and like Maltuka and Murax. a bunch of bands. And he was also the reason I knew him, and I thought that he was a guy that could help me like make this in a. I think I needed his help to record drums. That was like the main thing. And I texted it to him, and he used to play in Psychopath with Carl. And he was like, "Yeah, this is great. I'm opening a studio with some friends, and I'll give you a good deal if you want to record these like properly." And I did, and that became Uhyre, which is the like my entry band into playing as an adult, I guess. So yeah, that's
we're gonna play some Uhyre actually here in a little bit.
I got a question real quick.
Yeah.
When was your Contorted formed?
So Ed was in a band
this fucking name
Contorted too. I knew this was
driving me nuts.
He was in a band called Contorted too, so I knew this had to be driving Ed crazy.
Yeah, well, ours was made in 1997, so I don't think any of you were born.
This is really fun, actually.
I mean,
we came out of the ashes of the band Brutality.
All right.
So if you know who Brutality is, that's
I
where
knew this was
going to
happen.
Yeah, so I keep hearing Contorted, and I'm just going. It's
watching
crazy
Ed
that
over there
be,
fucking shaking. I'm like,
there could be two bands in two different parts of the world that could use the same name.
I mean, to clarify a little bit about the name and stuff, it's like because Psychopath that I played in imploded a little bit, and then okay, I'm just gonna tell it chronologically. So like I joined Psychopath. I'm in Psychopath for like 9 months or something, and then I get contacted by Oliver, who is now playing with Heimland, who is like, okay, we're going to studio to record Fimbulvinter in like a week, and our bass player like suddenly dropped out because he doesn't want to go to Bergen or some stupid reason or something. Can you learn the songs and record with us? And I'm like, sure, I can do that. And so I do it, and then I'm like, they ask me if I want to play concerts with them, and I'm like, yes, I can do that. I can be your live bass player, but when you find someone who is like more motivated and willing and into the music, I'll gladly let you replace me with them, because I'm more of a thrash metal guy anyways. So but then not long afterwards, like a year after that, Psychopath kind of implodes, and we just go on a break, which is still going on, I guess. And then I'm like getting really into black metal. I've gotten really into black metal like during that year. So I'm like, I want to join Heimland as like my main band, because this is obviously going somewhere and people are motivated and inspired. But out of the ashes of Psychopath, we're like, everyone is really into like Swedish death metal. So basically all of the Psychopath guys and one old Psychopath member, except for the vocalist and one of the guitar players, decided we want to play have like a death metal band, because we want to play together. And I initially came up with the name Voracious, which I think is really cool. I really like that band name, but it was downvoted, and Contorted was the new name. And we released a single with like when I was in the band. But then it kind of, I don't know, the Psychopath / Contorted guys are really like progressive. They're like progressive metal, like really technical thrash metal and technical death metal, like not technical but like progressive. So they evolved. So Contorted became more like progressive than what I initially wanted it to be. So I didn't want to play with them anymore. But they released an EP last year, which is called Deities of Uncreation, which is really really cool. Everyone should check that out. But as with the name Contorted, I don't know how they came up with that. But it's not originated from me. So Ed, don't murder me on this podcast.
I just hear the name Contorted and it drives me nuts, dude. Cause
I swear, I'm sitting there when I heard the name, I was like, oh.
I mean, it's been so long. Like, I mean, since I did anything with them, but it's just funny that you say contorted, and it's like how names can just, it happens all the time. Like a band's been gone forever, and then you hear a name, and you're like, oh shit, and then you go check it out, and you're like, that's not the same band. So it's just weird how that happens.
Yeah.
I think I'm also definitely sending this to Mats because the fact that
it's not hate,
like,
man. It's not a hate.
No. But it's like everyone's worst fear when you start a band and like you're a few years in and then you realize that there's this band that's been going on since like the 80s that has the same band name.
Well, imagine in the 80s how easy it was, right? You could be like, let's call ourselves Obituary.
It wasn't.
There's no obituaries.
But if you remember, it wasn't, because remember, me and Dave had a band, and every time we came up with a name, the guys in Eulogy were like, nah, dude, that's taken. And I'm like, and this was like early 90s. And I'm like, how is that name taken? So we wound up, not even having a name ever. Like, they called us Uneat, which is not even a cool name, but now it actually sounds pretty cool. Maybe somebody could use that name. But yeah, it was just weird when I heard contorted. I'm just like, it's such a small, in a vast world of bands, have millions and millions of names, how, it just recirculates. It's more power to them.
I mean, I think it's been like this since forever, because I know that the Grateful Dead also were called the Warlocks. And the Velvet Underground were also called the Warlocks, or it was Jefferson Airplane. I don't remember. But there was like
the Velvet Underground, dude. You go back for being your age, man. I'm really some of the bands. I'm like, wow, that's
I like
cool music is forever, man.
Yep.
And then there was like a big no, we can't be named the Warlocks. Fuck, because there's some other guys who've taken that name, and they were looking through like a dictionary or something, and then they stumbled across like the term the Grateful Dead.
Well, look at Sabbath. They were called Earth, right, at one time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Cara, when you first hook up with Heimland, so are you already familiar with tell me if I'm not saying this name right, Neist?
Or Gnist?
Yeah, Gnist.
No, I wasn't really familiar with any of the guys except Oliver when I joined Heimland, because when we played that last concert with Heimland in January, I was I remember meeting Christian and talking to him and hanging out a little bit, but I remember
when you were playing an Undaunted, right?
Yeah, Undaunted.
Yeah,
like together with like a split gig with Heimland. I remember like not really getting to know Christian because he was driving back to Karmøy, where he lives, which is like 3 hours away, because he was going to work the day afterwards. So he like drove down and drove back the same night. So after his concert, he like packed his shit and like drove instantly. So he wasn't around. And also I was like on my way into Psychopath and was really like excited about that. And the Psychopath guys had come to our show, to the last Undaunted concert. I was just hanging out with them and like, really into that. So I didn't really know Christian, even though I'd met him. And Oliver I knew really well. So meeting Christian or like Thomas and Gnist was I got to know them like after I joined Heimland, or like in the process of joining Heimland.
When you have like basically a week and a half, you said, before you guys start recording the Fimbulvinter EP, where are you guys rehearsing at early on? You said that. So are you guys doing rehearsals? Because you're saying Thomas is like 3 hours away from where you guys are located.
Yeah. So practice has always been like kind of a fluent, ever evolving thing in Heimland, where it's. I feel like we've gotten into kind of a good pattern now, where we have a space in Bergen, which is like a pre-production space where we practice for concerts and stuff, but we don't really have our weekly practice. But in the beginning, when I joined, we practiced at Karmøy, where Thomas and Gnist are living. Because then it's like half the band is in Bergen, half is in Karmøy, and it's cheaper for us to travel to Karmøy because it's like easier for us to get a place to stay, and we had like free rehearsal space. In Bergen, we didn't have any free place we could rent, so so it was more expensive, and parking is more expensive for the guys coming from Karmøy and stuff. So it was we traveled to Karmøy like once a month, I think, and had like a practice weekend instead of having like weekly practices. So we did that for a long time, where we just traveled down to Karmøy to practice.
Where do you guys record the Fimbulvinter?
We recorded it at a studio in Bergen called what is it called again? I don't remember. It's been a couple. We never went back to that studio. Tune Park, it's called.
Okay.
But we have like our own like technician and producer guy who is called Andreas, who plays bass with Abath. And he also has his own band called Sepulchre, which is really cool, which everyone should check out. And we brought him with us to Tune Park because he was learning how to like record. He wanted to get into like studio recording and stuff. So he was like, I can do it for free for you guys as long as you pay the studio rent. So we did that, and we were really happy with the results. So he's the same guy who's done the album and the newest EP, and he's going to do the next album as well.
When's your first show with the band?
My first show?
Yeah.
That was at Werfte in Bergen, which is like an old like sardine factory. I think that has been repurposed to a concert venue, which is like one of the bigger indoor. I think it's the biggest indoor concert venue we have in Bergen, except for Grieghall, which is the biggest, obviously. And it was there. It was during Corona. It was in 2021, I think. Yeah, spring of 2021, together with another band called Golden Core, which is like a doom two-piece band from
Since
Oslo.
defunct.
Since defunct, yep.
Yeah.
And I remember that show very vividly because I embarrassed myself pretty badly, like, because I went on stage, we had a sound check, everything was good. I did not turn the standby on the bass amp on. I just left it as it is because I have a tuning pedal. I just pressed the tuning pedal so it's like muted. Left everything up there. Went backstage, and during the time I was backstage, someone came and put on the standby on the bass amp without telling me, because they probably thought like, oh, it's going to hum and create noises from the bass guitar and stuff, which it didn't because I had pressed the fucking tuning pedal. But I remember going on stage like in full makeup, like, striking the first chord of the first song, no sound, and I just didn't know what was going on, so I just played without sound the first song. And the second song we were going to play was Heimland, the self-titled song, and that has a bass intro. So I remember just like freaking out over not having any sound, and we figured out it was the standby. So it was kind of embarrassing as like a first concert. But I feel like in my defense, it's kind of a dick move to be fucking with someone's amp without at least telling me that you've pressed the standby button.
And Eric, we're going to get to your first show with the band, because I know you did a couple fill-in shows eventually that started the whole thing out. But before that, Carl, what are some of the gigs, some of the bands you guys are playing with by, say, 2021?
Like in the period before Eirik's first gigs with the band, we played a lot of different shows actually, but some of the highlights are definitely we played a show with Gehenna in Stavanger, which was a very good show. The Gehenna guys are very nice, very welcoming, and nice to talk to. We also played 2 shows with Kampfar in Bergen and in Trondheim, which was also a really good experience. Kampfar is very, it's kind of because the stage, like backline technician for Kampfar was the drummer in Undaunted. So we kind of have an in, and we kind of, as the way Comfort does like their whole setup and live setup is kind of how we've is the base for what we have as well, with like the gear we have and how we've wired everything on stage, because it's very like plug and play and yeah, easy.
You played with Campfire last year too, didn't you, with Marduk on a festival?
Yeah. Spectacle festival in Larvik. It was a decent festival, I would say. Nice people. But I feel like we had a kind of an unfortunate time slot in that festival, which was like super early on a Friday, so people were still basically at work when we played. So it was super thin crowd.
Yeah, I think we played for like 25 people.
Yeah, and it was like in this big, huge, like what do you say, like sports arena.
Oh, that's the worst. That was your guys' first. Actually, I was going to say that was your first arena show too, ever, right?
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer, I would say. Like, and the energy from the crowd, and like I don't know the name, so I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. But the sound technician they had at that festival was also embarrassingly bad. Like, not only
really good at staring at his phone through our whole set.
And he was constantly like during our sound check, like he was being like, guys, we have no time, you need to hurry up.
One of those guys, yeah.
And it's like, okay, but we need these cables and we need this and this and this and this. Can you fucking find this? And then we're done. And the sound, I've heard some videos, and the sound out was like super unbalanced, and was just very like unenthusiastic about his whole gig, which I feel like is, when you're working freelance as a sound technician, that's such a bad attitude to have, because if I see that guy again, I'm just gonna fucking ask for another sound guy, if I'm at a festival or something.
2022, you form Uhyre. Well, actually, Uhyre is already formed, but you're actually joined the band. This is when you first actually have like a solid lineup, right, Eric?
Yeah. So I had four demos recorded, and I talked to Mats, and we decided that I'm gonna come to their studio and record them properly and get some help with, because I can play a good power chord, but I'm not like a good guitarist. But so I was like, okay, if you guys just help me with the drums, I'll play most of the guitar stuff, and if there's any like hang-ups, a friend of me and Carl called Johannes is from Psychopath and Contorted, the new Contorted,
the new Contorted,
Contorted in brackets more, is gonna help out. So we do all that, and it was just like initially so that I could have like a creative outlet first and foremost, but also like to have something to show people when I was like, hey, can I join your band? I'm already doing this is like what I can do, blah blah blah. So it was supposed to be like a kind of a flyer thing.
So is this the Hexernaut?
Yes,
this is that EP. So it's 4 tracks. So this is the one you're talking about that you're recording right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we do all that, like get it mixed and mastered and everything for basically peanuts, and like very like friend favors all around, very very good good time really. And then my friends in East Tone are releasing an album like that fall, I think in November or something. December. And they're having a release gig. And since me and the vocalist are friends, he's like, hey, how about you get like a special guest spot where we'll give you like a 15-minute so you can play through your whole discography at the opening of the gig. And I said, yeah, cool, great, but I don't have any members, like it's just me. And so I get this offer while I'm out drinking at a bar called Kåken, where I used to work. And I start just walking from table to table looking for people who look like they can play instruments because I'm shit-faced at this point. And so I asked like a few people, some of my friends, among someone, because I vaguely recognize Carl because I've seen him with the Psychopath people, but I think he's Christian Brynjulfsen, the now like the guitarist and vocalist and
Yeah, the previous bass player in Psychopath, the one who played
exactly.
bass for me.
Yeah. And so I asked him, "Are you Christian?" And he was like, "No, I'm Carl." And I was like, "Okay, can you play bass?" And he's like, I can actually. I was like, "Cool. Do you want to help me out with this this one gig that we're doing?" And it was just supposed to be like a one and done, like quick, like putting together a quick group to play live and then not play live anymore. But it was really fun. And afterwards, I asked like basically all of the guys if they would like to stay on and keep playing some shows. And that's how Carl became a permanent member of.
I mean, I'm the only one in the band, except me and you are the only ones in Uhyre that played the first gig who still are in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. Because we used to be a 4-piece, but now we're 5. Yeah, we're with 2 guitarists.
So you guys are still active. I was going to ask you guys. You guys are still Hexernaut was the last thing you guys actually put out.
No, that was
the single I'm about to play.
Single,
actually,
yeah.
Which I'm going to have you pronounce. Now I'm going to play this single, but I'm actually going to have you pronounce the name of it because it'll, it just won't work out if I do it.
Right. Yeah. It's called En Kirke til Ondskap, which means a church of evil.
Yeah, and this is like kind of, we were talking earlier before the show too. You could this is definitely different than the Heimland stuff. This is more like a black rock and roll thrash. You know, that whole sound going on. We talked about some Bad earlier, or like I hear some Motorhead, that kind of vibe going on to it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play that now, and then we're going to get back on the show with you too. So again, what's the title of this track?
En Kirke til Ondskap.
Okay, this is Uhyre. With that, what he
Tony
just said.
would have fucking said that. God, I would have paid to hear Tony try to say that.
Man, you don't understand. Like last night, I was like, "How the fuck am I going to pronounce some of this stuff?" But so we're going to play that song now. We'll be back on the Tampa Morgue right after this track. This is from 2023. This is Uhyre.
En
Uhyre with one more time.
En Kirke till Ondskap.
There you go, from 2023. And so we'll go back to Heimland now. You guys put out the band's debut demo in 2023 for Foederis Atora. Am I saying that somewhat correct?
I mean the debut album, not the debut demo.
Yeah, the debut album.
Yeah, and it's called Forfedrenes Tårer, which means Tears of the Ancestors.
Okay, there you go. So, and you guys recorded that at what studio?
I mean, that was recorded technically not at a studio. It's like more of a... It was kind of like a repurposed community jam center thing out in Fusa, which is like an hour north, an hour south of Bergen, inland maybe. Yeah.
Like, are you guys all writing? Because I know the former singer, he actually was coming up with a lot of guitar riffs on those records, the early material.
Yeah, so it's I feel like a lot of the stuff that was written for that album was written by Oliver, the guitar player. A lot of the riffs, and there was I don't remember what song or what riff, but I think there's at least one or two, maybe two riffs from Gnist, the previous singer. But I think it's mostly Oliver's riffs on that record, definitely.
And who handles the lyrics in the band?
That was Gnist. Yeah, that was
Gnist. Okay.
Yeah.
And everything's in Norwegian.
Yeah.
Lyric wise.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some of the topics? I know you guys like pagan black metal, right, and stuff like this. What are some of the lyrical influences the band has?
Ooh, I mean that would definitely be like a question for Gnist, but I can give my my interpretation at least. I there's a lot of like kind of almost Viking-y, like very Norse kind of concepts. Like one of my favorite songs from the album, which is not conceded to say because I didn't make it, is At the Stupa, which is Midsummer, the movie.
Oh yes, it just came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The
festival of like where they
exactly yeah.
That's a fucked up movie actually.
Yeah, it is. It's fucking gross. Don't like it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie, but it definitely makes you think afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. There's this bit in it with like where the old people kind of sacrifice themselves to like preserve the community and not be a burden to
jumping off the cliff, right? Or
yes. So that concept is called At the Stoop, which it's called like it basically means like line dive, but where the elders of a community, once they kind of very like utilitarian kind of I don't serve a purpose to my community anymore, so I will end my life. So that's something. There's a lot of nature imagery going on in early Heimland lyrics. There's definitely like influence from like Taake and Asagraum, and a lot of the West Coast folky black metal bands, and a lot of kind of I would say like classic black metal imagery of like winters and ravens and the sun going down and stuff like that. I would say like as a whole, the lyrical themes of Forfedrenes Tårer is like the fading of a golden age, like looking at like society. It's like a kind of reject modernity, embrace tradition kind of thing. So yeah, I'd say that's like the early Heimland lyrics really summed up.
Well, I think with you talk about the image too. I look at the artwork to that, which I was checking. It was like a painting from 1813. And you guys' artwork kind of has that look to it. I know onto the new EP you guys just put out too, kind of has that vibe. And is that kind of like a traditional kind of look you guys are kind of going for with all the artwork?
Yeah, definitely. It was initially my idea to use the old painting as the album cover.
And that was Johann Christian Dahl who did that one?
Johann Christian Dahl. So I remember I was just looking for inspiration on like Google for something that we could send to someone who could make something, blah blah blah. And I stumbled across that picture. And if I may phrase it a little incorrectly, but it's called Kirkeruiner på Avaldsnes. That painting, which means like church ruins on Avaldsnes, which is like a place on Karmøy, not too far from where Christian lives. And that church on the painting is still there today, like not in ruins, obviously, but like there's a proper church there that is like a museum, like a old Viking traditional museum thing. So I pitched the cover, which is like this is a cool old painting with like vibrant colors, so it stands out like from all the black and white stuff that gets released, because it's usually becomes kind of like a big sea of black and white when it's a black metal uncovers, but this kind of stands out a little bit, has a tasteful color palette, and it's like some place that is related to the band's history. Like this is a church on the island where the band was formed.
Oh, okay.
So we went to that church. We played a festival on Karmøy, because Karmøy has the festival called Karmøygeddon, which is like a pretty big metal festival. Has bands like Satyricon and Dimmu Borgir, stuff that plays there as headliners. And we played like they have like this thing in the fall called Black Nights and Heavy Nights, which is like a mini festival. We played there together with Alpha Hanna and Bölzar and a couple of other bands. And we went out to the church, the Avaldsnes church, and took some band photos. So we had like photos of us with the church on the backside of the vinyl for the album. So it's like a cohesive kind of thing. And I feel like from there on, we just kind of really felt like it was our thing, kind of, with the whole, especially with the themes usually being like, as Eirik pointed out so well, like with the whole reject modernity, embrace tradition, kind of everything used to be better, and the whole golden age that is past type of thing. I feel like those old national romanticism paintings really kind of paint a good picture of that, what we're trying to do, and it's something that people have done before. I know Vindir has used some old paintings, and Kamfar recently used an old painting, and Satyricon has used Munch painting as their album cover as well. But I feel like a lot of new bands don't do that, so we stand out a little bit, and we just feel like want to keep doing that.
And speaking of that, who designed your guys? Obviously, the banner you guys used when we saw you guys a few weeks ago, and obviously the T-shirt designs the cross with the head on it, the goat head. Who designed that?
That is a tattoo artist that's based in Bergen called Carmen. On Instagram, she is called Black and Roll, which is kind of a take on like black and roll. And black in Norwegian means ink, so it's like ink and roll, which is pretty cool. And she's an amazing tattoo artist, and both me and Eirik have tons of tattoos from her, and Oliver as well. So we all knew her pretty well, and we wanted to have like some symbol that we can use to like so it's not just our logo that represents our band, something else that represents our band as like a symbol, so we can have like on our merch and maybe on pins in the future, what have you. And she designed the cross, and we were happy with it, so it's something we use on our merch, and it's on the backdrop that we have. And planning to like keep using that as like an image, like a representation of our band, as well as the logo. But something that we can use to not just have the logo always, something to differentiate a little bit.
In Heimland, that stands for, that's like what, motherland, or how would you define that term?
It's like homeland, more like kind of like if you speak to someone and it's like my homeland, that would be mitt Heimland, you could say. Kind of vague translation.
And how do you guys get involved with Edged Circle Productions, who put out that record, the debut for you guys?
That was how do we do that? Because I remember that Fimbulvinter we released like as like individual artists. We had someone called Snake Oil that did the cassettes, and Cold Northern Breeze Records did the CDs. But they only did like the physical format things, and not anything to do with the release itself. We did that ourselves. But I remember we recorded some demos for the Forfetarnes Tour and sent it around to Edged Circle, because Edged Circle Productions also has Sepulchre, the band who is our sound technician or producer's band, and Inculter, which is also a really cool death thrash band from Bergen. So we were like, this seems like a cool like underground local label. So we sent it to those guys, sent the demos to them, and we also sent the demos to Dark Essence, which is the label who has Taake. And Dark Essence basically gave us an instant reply where it was like, "Nope, no room left on the label. See ya." and initially, Edged Circle was kind of similar, where it's like, "We don't have the budget for this. It's pretty cool, but we don't have any budget." So we were kind of like, "Fuck it. Let's just do it indie, I guess, again. And we'll just record it anyways." So we went into the studio at Fusa, the repurposed practice space thing, and recorded the whole album, mixed and mastered it, and then we sent it back to Edged Circle Productions when it was fully mastered, like complete. And they were like, "Okay, we have some room. It's pretty cool. We want to release it." So I was pretty happy about that. We just went and recorded it anyways, not waited for the grass to grow. You know what I mean?
Now, are you guys vinyl guys? And how was it to first see your band on a vinyl? Because you guys did a 12-inch on that record also.
Yeah, I actually like. We did. Let's see. We did 2 different. Here it is. Have it right by. So we did 2 versions of that one, with one clear vinyl. I think it's the one I have here, and then also some test pressings. But I remember talking to the guys in the band before we went on tour, and being like, I remember when I started like playing in bands, there was like 2 things that I want to do as a guy who plays in a band, and after that I can retire and be happy with what I've completed, and that is having my own music on vinyl and going on an international tour. Those 2 things.
There you go. Time to quit now, man.
Yeah. I remember being just like,
ahead.
this is like the 2 things that I really wanted to complete. So on the back we have the picture with the church that is on the cover. So it's that was really cool to have our own vinyls, and I'm really happy with the guys at the Edged Circle who did the layout and stuff. They were really, really good. Really happy with it, and it's very, very well done. Good pressing.
And Eric, this is where you come into picture, right? 2023. You step in for 3 shows with the band. Carl, did you know at this time period that Gnist wasn't coming back into the band? Did you kind of already know, or was just something that was kind of just a spur of the moment thing where you needed someone to step in and you go to Eric?
I mean, I don't want to go too deep into Gnist's
Yeah, you can say whatever you want,
life,
man. You don't have to.
He definitely had already like we had already discussed in the band that like touring and like excessive touring wouldn't be possible for him because he just doesn't have the mental capability to do that, and it would be very like risky, and we didn't want to do that. So we already kind of it had already been discussed like sometime in the future, a couple of years down the line, we might have to think more realistically about getting another vocalist, because this isn't, we want to tour, we want to, like, for us the music is like top one priority, you know, and yeah, it's what we want to do, and we want to go make it as big as possible, and touring is a part of that. So we knew that it was coming, but it came a lot sooner than expected, definitely. So we had those 3 shows booked, and because we were like kind of sniffing around for another vocalist, so we could have something lined up for the future, like to make the transition smooth and make sure that everyone got treated properly in the whole process. Like, we didn't want to kick Gnist, so we just had like since I was already in the band with Eirik, we had a kind of a nachspiel, you could say, at Kirke, the bar he used to work at, and I remember him jokingly telling me like,
if he like dies or something,
anything happens to Gnist, I'll be glad to step in. It would be pretty cool. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, funny you say that, because we've been kind of looking around to see what the possibilities are, but like not something that is urgent, but just to see what our options are. And so we just had a rehearsal with Eirik, just to like test the chemistry, basically. Like, is he a good fit? Like, chemistry wise, how does it sound with his vocals on our songs? Blah blah blah. We did, and it was great. Like, his vocals obviously sounded great, and chemistry was very good. And so we were like, okay, this is good. This is good, and looks like we have something going here. But anyways, gotta rehearse for the upcoming gigs with Gnist, and this is something that is way down the line anyways, so it's not something that is important to prioritize. And then like 2 days after we had the rehearsal with Eirik, we get a call from Gnist's dad telling us like he won't be able to go to participate in the gigs, and
he had a medical emergency.
Yeah. And
you guys have 3 gigs, right? Remainder of the year. This is like the end of the year, 2023.
Yeah.
Where the first upcoming gig was like 4 days after the phone call.
Yeah, 4 days, I think.
Yeah.
The phone call was like on like a Tuesday, and this was on a Friday or Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, oh shit. Okay, obviously health comes first, so he has to do what he can to get better, and we support that. But I also remember just being so like relieved that we had. Luckily, we had like a tryout with a new vocalist like 2 days prior that we didn't even plan to have. It was just like a spur of the moment thing.
So yeah, Eric, you must have been. You get a phone call right away, probably.
No, yeah, I got a text from Carl that was like, "Hey, are you at home?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I'm coming over." Period. And like, I'm pacing back and forth because I didn't know what was going on, and I thought it was something like some crisis. Like it was like, yeah, this thing has happened with Uhyre or whatever, and I need to quit or distance myself, or like some. I thought I was being cancelled, and then he's knocking on my door, and he's all kind of nervous and sweaty, and he was like, "Okay, yeah. So how are your? Can you do like 2 gigs this weekend?" And another one in 3 weeks or something. And I was like, sure, I guess if you need me to. And it was also kind of because I've been doing these like with Uhyre and stuff, like smaller shows, like warming up for small bands. Like we were doing warm up gigs for bands with like like Heimland's size. Um, and it was like cool. Yeah, one is like a festival, like mini festival showcase thing that's going on in 3 days, basically.
Is
And
that
the other one,
Ville Fest?
yes, that was the first show I played with Heimland. And the second one was like, I don't know if it was the day after or 2 days later or something, which was like being the warm up act for Taake.
I think it was 2
The
days
week
later.
after,
Maybe it
yeah,
was the week after.
really,
I don't remember.
Was that a
it was
release
really,
show for them?
Yeah,
Taake?
yeah,
30th
yeah, it was.
anniversary year show and release show or something. I don't remember.
Yeah,
It was a whole thing.
it sure was very chaotic time, but it was really fun, and I think it worked out great. The Ville Vest thing was a bit of a, it's like,
Wrong crowd, wrong festival.
wrong crowd.
Yeah,
It was,
weird.
we were like we were the first ones to play, I think, and then after it was like a David Bowie-esque like
Oh, yeah.
alt rock
Oh.
thing, and then after it was some like hip hop hyper pop.
Did you see the review from the David Bowie guys? They got fucking butchered.
Yeah, they were slaughtered. They were interviewed like right before they played, and they were like, yeah, we tried to keep our like inspirations and stuff kind of mysterious, and we try to be kind of unexpected, and then and then the reviewer was like, well, it's not that mysterious. Like, I think I understand this fine. But yeah, so that was very like a very big leap for me in terms of like seriosity, I guess. Like it stuff got a lot more involved very quickly, kind of overnight. And then like we played the first few shows, and then we started talking kind of seriously about doing like a vocalist change permanently in a like a real way, I think, because we've been talking about doing it down the line, and I don't remember if I had gotten like an official offer at this point, but like we very quickly realized that like this mix works, and we wanna keep going forward with this lineup.
And I think it gets announced February 2024 is when they announce you joining the band. March 2024, you guys do a tour with Afsky from Denmark.
Yeah,
Offski, yeah.
sounds right.
Very very fun. First tour I think I did, definitely. You guys did a tour with Kampfall
Just two
like
shows.
the year before.
So it's like a tour.
Yeah, that's fair.
But just back-to-back shows.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely like a learning experience. Very fun. The Offski guys are really nice. Yeah, had a lot of fun. Played some good shows. Definitely helped us kind of grow as a band and become more tight knit and stuff. So yeah, a very 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 fun tour.
I know there's an EP coming out also eventually, and I think it was May of 2024. But what are you guys? Is a certain like what shows are you guys hitting, and what bands are you guys playing with around that area? 2024, because now you're touring. It's the first, pretty much like you said, Carl. It's pretty much the first tour you guys did. Are you guys starting to see more offers? Are you starting to see more doors opening up at that time period?
I remember kind of the opposite in a way, because I remember that there was the concert we played after the tour with Offski was Spectacle Festival in November of 2024. There was like a half a year gap with no
Yeah.
activity on the gig front. I remember it being kind of like kind of a bummer, because it's like, okay, we just played a tour and doors are maybe opening, blah blah blah, and then it's like dead silence for like half a year.
Yeah.
And we initially planned to like, yeah, we're just gonna use this time to record, or to listen, make the next record, and it's gonna be good. We're going to use this time efficiently, so that when we have more gigs, we already have the album completed and blah blah blah. Didn't do shit. and yeah, and it was just basically a half a year break, you can say, more or less. We went on a cabin trip to my cabin to
Is
make
that the
some.
place? So I saw you guys had a setup with the amps and all that stuff and all the mic'd up. Is that, it looked like a cabin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you guys record some of the stuff for the EP?
No, the EP was recorded in the same place as the debut album, and that was recorded. I was just gotta get my story straight here. Yeah, we recorded the EP like way before. That was like recorded before the album was released, also.
Okay.
So we recorded the album in May of 2022, if I'm not mistaken, and we released the album May 2023. And I think we recorded the 2 songs for the Tronearvingens doed 7-inch in January of 2023. So it was like a year and a half, a little under a year and a half before it's released. Because the song Grepen av Mørkets hånd was supposed to be a track on the record, but we didn't feel like it fit on the record, so we kind of put it aside and thought like, would be cool to maybe do an EP or something, so we have like every other release is like an album, and then we have some like what do you call it, like some rarity stuff, either 7-inch or 10-inch or whatever, what have you.
Yeah, because that 7-inch, what, you guys did 250 copies only of that?
Yeah.
The last one?
Yeah, we did 250, and then there was also like a DIY cover version of that one. I think it was 50 of those. Let's see, I don't remember, but I have to. I think it's 250 of the 7-inch, like the standard. I mean, I do think that's a little bit on the beefier side. I mean, it's the same amount of copies as our album, and I think it was could have been a little bit more exclusive. Yeah, 250 copies of the regular one, and then I think there's 50 hand numbered. Yeah, 50 hand numbered of the DIY cover version.
So now, or you guys have a new album in the works. So you guys get off the tour, right? A couple weeks ago. Like, what's the plan now? Because I know you guys have some shows booked coming up. I think we have one in December that we were talking about earlier. So recording wise, let's go to the like new material. What do you guys have planned for this year, recording wise?
We're going into the studio pretty soon. Actually, just like recently confirmed that we're heading into the studio. Actually, everything is booked and everything is like set in stone. I mean, it's kind of similar story to the previous album, where it's like we booked the studio and it's still like not completely finished to where we wanted it to be. Like, I think the title track of the last our debut album was made in like one band practice, I think, which is kind of funny because that's my favorite track of the record, and it's
some of the best songs, man. Like, you know, if you think about it, some of the ones that are easiest to write, you know, we've talked about this, Ed, before, are some of the best songs you come up with. It's crazy. If you have to force it sometimes, it's
definitely. And it's kind of similar now to where it's like the album is like 80% completed, I would say, instrumentally, where it's like we know most of the stuff that is happening, but there's still some stuff that needs to be done. But just booking the studio gives you like that push to finish it up and tie up all the loose ends.
We kind of thrive on deadlines.
Yeah, we do.
I feel
really
like we definitely need to have like, okay, this has to be done by this date or whatever, or we will just put it off.
We work really well under pressure, I feel like, both when it comes to gigs and when it comes to recording and stuff.
Are you guys still under Edge Circle?
Yeah, that's the plan to release the because when we signed the initial contract, there was like something called Option 2, which is like the option to have the next record was not it was not confirmed that we had the next, but I think we're going for it's going to be then released on the same label. But after that, I think we need to sign a new contract. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, I love working with the Edge Circle guys. They're great. They're such funny and nice people and helpful. And it's and they supported us now on the tour. They sent us some CDs. Just like press some new CDs and just send them our way so we could sell them. And they don't take any of the they didn't take any of the profits from the sales, just support. And they're really investing in us as a band, I feel like, which is very heartwarming, I would say. That it feels like they're very genuine about their interest and wanting to build us up as a band, which just feel really, really cool.
What do you guys have? So show wise for the rest of this year, what do you guys got going on?
I mean, I don't want to announce any shows here that's not
confirmed 100%.
Yeah, or that it's not announced yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some shows that are confirmed but not announced. Then we have some shows that are not completely confirmed yet, but most likely will be. We are planning on having our album release this year for the album that is going to be recorded now, like a late year release. So that's the plan, and we have some shows that we want to book, like in like what do you say, like together with the release, you know what I mean? And then we have I think the only one that is announced right now is the Black Hole Fest show.
And that's what, December?
That is, that's like right before Christmas. It's 19th December.
And Eric, are you writing the lyrics now? Have you started to taken over the lyric duty?
Yes, definitely. I'm very excited for the new music. I think it also really helps us that we basically got straight off the tour, and then we're like into like finalizing the album, really nailing down where everything goes, because it also makes us kind of think about like, how are these songs going to be live, and how are we gonna, like, yes, they work well in rehearsal and like in when we listen to the demos and blah blah blah, but I think it's really helpful for us that we can have that kind of, not exhaustion necessarily, but kind of like the effort of playing live fresh in mind when going in to do this the studio thing. And like concept wise, and we have a very strong vision with the upcoming album that I'm very excited to kind of tie all together. And we've been cooking up this. It's not fully a concept album, but it's like it's walking that line. It's a very cohesive
it's going to be
piece of music.
Really
it's going to be really good. And I think the last album is good, but it very much like wears its influences on its sleeve. Whereas this one, I feel, is more like uniquely us.
Totally.
It's very much a development of the Heimland sound and concept.
I also,
for you, you're probably looking forward to kind of get your face into it too, by being part of the new record. You're part of the discography and stuff, so it's got to be something that you're pretty excited about.
Absolutely. And it's been very weird and fun on the tour to like have, because people are buying CDs and vinyls and stuff, and then they want it signed, and I'm like,
you got to explain to them, hey,
like, I'm happy to sign it, but I wasn't on this, and they were like, I don't give a fuck, just sign it, please. So it's very fun to really, because I definitely feel like a proper member of Heimland. I think I'm the longest running vocalist at this point. I've played the most shows and blah blah blah. But I feel like once I have something that I helped create, then that's gonna really cement and help me take ownership of Heimland
I just wanna
to myself.
add a little bit to that, and because to me it's felt like Eirik has kind of always been the vocalist at this point, because we've played so many shows, and me and Eirik were having a beer yesterday, and we're talking about this, and I feel like this album is, to me as well as Eirik, a lot more like a collaboration. Like it's more of an effort from all of us. All four of us have put our own marks on it, more than the previous album, where I felt like it was Oliver had a lot of demos lying around that were used, which, like Eirik said, like very, very obvious influences that were not like not ashamed to admit that were influenced by like the people that, or the bands that are very obviously inspired, or the inspiration for the separate songs. But I do feel like this album is more like a Heimland record, and it was kind of weird because the EP that we released in 2024 is not with Eirik on vocals. That was with Gnist. And when we were talking about like the whole vocalist change thing, we really wanted to like not change vocalist before that was released, so we didn't change vocalist and then release something with the previous vocalist and be like a whole mix. Because a lot of people was thinking that Eirik sang on those songs initially, because I announced a new vocalist and then we announced an EP. It's very like typical new band member type of situation. But when we would, especially when we got like the whole Ovski tour thing, it was very apparent to us that like we need to change vocalist now, because Gnist can't do this tour. He was still not completely recovered from the health issues that he had, and it was very like we need to just do this, just like properly change vocalist like officially, because it would be weird not
Kind of
to
rip
do
the
it.
Band-Aid off.
Yeah, just rip the Band-Aid
Yeah.
off. But then we released that EP, which was not with Eirik, so it was kind of weird, and I'm really looking forward. And the lyrics on the new album is, I don't want to speak on Eric's behalf, but they're really good, and the concept is really good, and it's going to be a really good record.
Yeah, very excited.
Yeah.
Well, I will say it was my first time seeing you guys was a few weeks ago, and you guys had a great stage presence too, which is one thing that caught my attention. A lot of times the band just stands there. Eric, you're very animated up there. Heard you guys went to the merchandise stand, talked to Oliver and Eric, and yeah, man, like I said, looking forward to the new record.
Appreciate it.
I was very impressed when I saw you guys live. I know I told Ed too when I got back. I saw Asagraum, like I think it was probably 2 years ago with Unleashed and Destroyer 666, so I knew that band. But it was great to actually find a new band that I hadn't heard of that I thought was killer. So I totally appreciate that. And before we let you guys get out of here, I got to ask, because Ed's a bass player, I'm going to ask you, Carl. What are you What are you playing out of? Are you a gear guy at all, or?
I mean, I'm kind of pragmatic when it comes to bass gear. I mean, I'm definitely interested in having the proper gear, but I would say for me it's very important that I have good gear and stuff that's durable and works. But I have the bass that I use with Heimland is let's see if I. Is a ESP LTD AP5, which is a P bass replica thing with PJ pickups, EMGs, Babix, bridge, and 5-string. A very good bass, very durable, solid, great intonation, never goes out of tune that much. Very good to travel with. And I think it's on most of the recordings as well. That's the one I travel with, and it's yeah, it's if I'm going to buy a new bass, I would probably just buy another one, so I have a backup. I'm thinking of getting the 4-string version, so I have a 4-string because I can definitely play all the Heimland songs without the 5th string. But I do use it a lot, but I can play with the 4-string as well. So I'm thinking of getting the 4-string version at some point. I'm really happy with that, and I also have with Uhyre, I use a jazz bass that I've built myself from like a kit.
Oh shit!
And kind of happy with this one. I kind of used my ESP bass as like a template, so I have the same bridge, the same pickups, like just in another shape and 4-string. And yeah, did the whole painting and cut out the headstock and did the polishing and everything. It's a good bass definitely, but it's not the same as the ESP bass. But it's a very fun bass, and it's a very punky sound. It cuts through the mix pretty well. Perfect for Uhyre. So happy about that.
Speaking of Uhyre, not to cut you off or anything, but you asked if we're still active, and we definitely are. We have a new EP that's being dropped like in August ish. And actually, as we speak, I am waiting for the final master from Joel Grind of
Toxic Holocaust. Yeah, we've played with them.
Yeah, you did. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's really nice.
Great
guy,
band, man, too.
Yeah, 100%. Legends.
Yeah, they're a great band. Yeah. So when you get some new material, you have to send it over to us. We'll play it on the show and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ed, what didn't you just get a new bass? Did you just pick up something too?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean,
did you pick up some new gear?
Oh yeah, always. I'm a dark glass guy, so I got the new dark glass Anagram, which is their top tier pedal that has every piece of gear that they ever made inside of it. Yeah.
There we go.
B7K. Yeah. Yeah. The Anagram is basically the quad cortex made for bass players, which I have a quad cortex too, because I play guitar.
Yeah. Our guitar player has a quad cortex.
Yeah, I don't admit it very much, but I play guitar. But yeah, I bought that to play both because I wanted something for both guitar and bass. But when the Anagram came out and I found out it was basically everything Dark Glass makes, because I've been playing Dark Glass before they were ever popular.
Yeah,
I started when they first came out with the B3K.
Oh yeah, really?
The very first verse one. I bought it, and the guy Doug wrote me and was like, "Thanks for purchasing this," because nobody knew who they were. And I knew they were going to blow up. And then Alex Webster got it, and then my bass player that I was playing with, Terry Butler, picked one up, and then they just became huge. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I recently got it, actually. I didn't... I think I got it like when did I get it? Like a year ago? I think I got it a little bit after the off-ski tour, actually.
Yeah, they're good stuff, man. They make a great tone. They're definitely one of a kind. Nothing sounds like them.
And for me, the most because we've kind of mixed up our live setup a little bit so that we have as little as possible dependency on sound technicians and stuff when we're going on tour. So I just the reason I have this big gap is because I use this instead of a DI box. Yep. So I just have a splitter, and I have one that goes to front of house, and I have one that goes to our drummer's mixer. So he gets his directly from me, so he doesn't need anything from front of house. And our guitar player has the same with his quad cortex, where it's like splitter, one to our drummer, and we have our own splitter for the mic. So it's like splitter, one to the drummer, and so he just has his mixer, and it's pre-mixed, so it's all good. So for us, it's just like plug and play. Sound check in 15 minutes. Yeah, it's fucking revolutionized our setup. It's so quick now.
Yeah, I had a sound guy on the last tour I did, and he was absolutely... I'll just not say anything.
No comments.
That's something that I really appreciated touring with Taake and Asagraum, was like, the efficiency of it all.
Yeah.
Where it was like we were all sharing the same like drum set, mic stand, amps, like cabinets, everything, and it was really great to just like you do loadout, and like you're tired at the end of the day, and it's just like, okay, let's get the cabinet back into the thing and get the drum set back. So it's not like a huge process of tearing down and rebuilding and
and like, the
everything.
changeovers were really comfortable. Like
100%.
no big changeover issues. Like the drummers used the same kit, so it was just cymbals and snare and kick, or like pedals, and it's only the backdrops basically. No big production stuff. Very comfortable changeovers.
And for being at your guys' first tour, being on a bus, living with other people for what you guys did, 10 shows, was that kind of a shock for you guys or not a big deal?
So it went like as good as it could have. It went as well as it could have gone. You know, it's.
Yeah.
I feel like we
kind of
as a band functioned really well on tour. Like we were good at like carrying our own weight with the load out and load in. Tomáš, the tour manager, he was very happy with us, and living with other people, sleeping in the bunks was great. Most of us got the sleep we needed, and no like tensions between us in the band. Like we were all like hanging out and giving each other enough space, and very very good times.
We were also really in like business mode, so we came to the tour with the mindset that we're gonna like, this is work. We're gonna do a good job, and we're gonna like be easy to work with, and like again pull our own weight and impress where we can. So we definitely like we're very happy with like the other bands. Again, like the Tomáš, the tour manager, is a fucking wizard, and he's amazing. And I think just on the whole, everything just kind of surpassed our expectations with like the work aspect of it, where it was like incredibly like easy and painless, and like the tensions of being so close onto other people. And obviously they're veterans at this, so like if they understand that you need space, and we understand that they need space, and etc. etc. So I think it as far as a first international like longer tour, couldn't have gone better. Like it was completely ideal, and I think us with Taake is a very good match that makes sense. Like we're both from the same town, we know each other from before, and so there's no like big surprises or anything, which is great, I think.
Well, it was definitely a killer show, and it was definitely, like I said, my introduction to the band. So we appreciate you guys actually coming and hanging out with us and giving us your time today.
Yeah, great. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Definitely. If you guys ever come back to this area, let me know. I'll show you guys some of the restaurants around here and stuff like that. It's one thing about this, about moving over here to Eastern Europe. For me, I moved to a country that actually the food's killer and stuff. So I could always show you guys around a little bit.
But and just like out of curiosity, because Ed, you live in Tampa Bay, Florida.
I do.
Okay, so you're like awake early in the morning now, or?
Yeah, Ed's up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm at the gym at 5 every morning. So
all right,
but yeah, it's 11:20 for me right now.
Okay.
So I think we're 7 hours. Difference.
Yeah. So I think you're. So what is it? 8 hours from where you guys are, and then 7 hours from me, I think, or it might be something like that. I think we're an hour difference.
It's 6 hours and 7 hours for you. So it's 18:20 for you, and it's 17:20 for us now.
That's what always fucks us up on the show is when we have people from like, say someone's coming on from Spain or here. We got to figure out like 3 different time zones.
Yeah.
because I think it was you I was talking to, Carl, when we were setting
Yeah.
this up. I'm like, well, I'm on this side, because I'm in Tampa. I have a place in Tampa too. I go back and forth,
Okay,
but I
cool.
mostly I do most of the shows from over here.
Yeah.
So, which is easier with the European bands whenever I'm dealing with, because it's the time schedules is the brutal thing for all of us. And Ed's up like Ed's up early as shit in the morning, so it's never a problem getting him
do a show
on.
early. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, so it's like
I'd rather do it earlier than late at night anyway.
Yeah, he likes to do it at 6 a.m. He'll do it, So it's but I've actually woken up here at like 4 a.m. to interview bands because I have to be, we're kind of we're not the band, so we try to work around everyone's schedule, make it easiest for the band coming on because everybody's got different stuff going on.
Greatly appreciated for
yeah. So
yeah, and it's awesome too. Getting to talk to all kinds of different people.
Yeah.
So,
but you guys, what are the names of you guys' bands? We gotta check out.
Ed's in Monstrosity. He was in Massacre. We do a band called.
I was in a band called Contorted.
Fucking guy. I knew we were gonna. Next to Carl's gonna be like, yeah, my band Destined to Ruin. That was another one of his bands. But so we, me and Ed done a band. We did a band called Doomslow together with Derek Roddy. I don't know if you know him from Hate Eternal and all those bands. Doomsilla. I'll actually send you some of the names via email.
Check out you guys' music as well. That's just the other way.
Yeah, we've been around for a long time, and we've been doing it for a long time. So we decided to do this. When I moved over to Europe, me and Ed have been friends forever. I used to book shows and run a club, a bunch of shows there. So we decided, hey, let's do a podcast, even though we had never done a podcast before. Now, Eric, you had done a podcast, you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
We never did it, man. We were just like, hey, all day we talk about music and like, whether it's making music, because we still record from where we are and so, do the whole file transfer crap. And it led to this. And we started doing it like a couple years ago, man. And we just wanted to do it different than a lot of other shows. We're like, well, let's cover the whole history and kind of do like the documentary style because, a lot of interviews are like, just tell us about your new album, where you go on a show and they'll be like, so tell us about your band. So we kind of tried to lay the footwork.
And being 100, I've been around and saw many of these bands when they were nobody. So, that helps too.
Ed was around before there was what is it called? The Metalum? What's the page called?
Encyclopedia.
Yeah. It was before that shit. But yeah, so we started doing this and then we just keep on doing it. Like I said, the whole point of the show is that someone can go listen to this. So say you got, say Heimland's around in 20 years, people can go back and say, oh, let me, hear the beginning and it still be relevant,
Yeah.
That's kind of how we do it. But I couldn't find any interviews with you guys except for, I call him Thomas because that's what I saw his name listed under from the press he had done. You call him Christian, I think.
It's, I just was confused because I thought you said Thomas, like the name Thomas.
Yeah, or it's Tomas, right? You guys call how do you guys say it?
Yeah, it's like Thomas.
Thomas, okay,
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, when I was looking at your guys' song titles, when I was picking songs for the show, I was like, I just can't even. There were some cool songs. I was like, this is a great song, but I'm not gonna be able to say this.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is
when we do new releases, and he talks about European bands with their
it's brutal.
Dude, he goes, fuck, and he and I mean, it's like a blooper reel. I live for the shit. I can't.
He loves
it. In the background, I can't help it because I get it. I listen to my mom talk Polish, and I'm just like, I was like, holy fuck, I don't even know how do you decipher that, because it's a completely different language than, in America we're taught French or Spanish, or if you're somewhere they teach German. That's it. That's it. You hear all these other languages. Like when I was on tour, we were in all these places, and I was like, fuck, you can't prepare for that. You got to thank God we're on a tour with people, the crew who speaks the languages. So that's what helps, especially for food. You know what I mean? Because I have certain foods I don't eat, and I see words and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck's in this, and
next thing you know, you're getting a moose cock sandwich.
Yeah. And I wrap it up and send it right to Tony.
Exactly.
No, we had some similar stuff. Luckily we don't have any allergies or like none of us are like vegans or vegetarians and stuff, but our guitar player doesn't drink beer with alcohol, so we want non-alcoholic beer on our backstage. And I think like, what was it, 4 of the gigs we had non-alcoholic beer, something like that. It was like abysmally bad, and that's like our tour rider is like very easy to work with. We don't have any like super specific needs. It's just like we need a backstage and we need beer and we need alcoholic beer. Alcoholic beer is like the one thing that is like specific.
What was some of the best beer you guys had out there on that trip?
I mean, Urkel was pretty nice in Czech.
Yeah, Czech has good beer.
Urkel split the tour. Like the tour bus was like 50-50 split, and like this is delicious and this is disgusting.
I like Urkel. I think it's a nice beer.
I like Urkel.
Yeah,
we had some Urkels yesterday.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's pretty similar to Hans, isn't it? Like kind of a best.
I would say so. Or it's kind of it's a bit more bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like Urkel is a classic. I remember. I think it was in
the beer in Poland was the one in. I remember one in Lublin we had was. I remember it was lukewarm and it was like way over like carbonated, so it was like super like I got so bloated from one beer. Yeah. I think I just had one beer and got to bed early that night because I was like, fuck this. It's not worth getting drunk on this shit.
I think there was one in the Czech Republic that I was like, this is crisp as fuck. This is delicious.
Czech has good beer, man. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
beer
they do.
Yeah. Isn't that the? No, it was the one in the first place, right? In Uhyre, the Z over whatever it was, like the lots of the Z's and the W's and stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, it was fun to like realize which countries have good beer.
Yeah,
Germany too they had good stuff, but the only beers we got on our backstage were like Weiss beer bullshit that I don't like at all. Like is this like wheat beer stuff where
I like wheat beer.
It's not for me, man. It's too sweet.
Man, well, you guys, again, we appreciate you coming on here. And where can people, for anybody from Poland who wants to send you guys hate mail, where can they go? And where can anybody that wants merchandise get anything merchandise-wise?
So if you want to contact us, the best way to contact us is either through Messenger or Instagram DMs or our mail, which is heimlandofficial@gmail.com. It's in our bio, in our Instagram and Facebook. We are pretty active, so it's pretty easy to get a hold of us if you send us a message or a mail. Yeah. Other than that,
and merch. How about what shirts or anything?
Yeah, shirts, merch. Best way to do that is to go to Edge Circle Productions on Bandcamp. I think is the best way.
Cool, man. Well, when you guys get, obviously when you hear us got some new stuff out, send it over to us. And obviously Heimland. Oh, yeah. And, again, we appreciate you guys coming on, and hopefully you guys will be back in this area.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hell yeah.
Hope I'll see you guys again sometime. It was
great. Definitely, man. Like I said, killer show. Great meeting you guys. And,
likewise.
Great finding out about the band. So we're going to
for having us.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And, we're going to play a track on the way out of here. I'm going to have you guys tell me what it's called because it's the title of the last EP you guys put out. I know it's from the 2024 release. We're going to play the title track. So how exactly do I pronounce this?
Tronearvingens doed.
Yeah, we're going to play that from Heimland. Again, guys, we appreciate you coming out and hanging out. And we'll say goodbye to you guys in a minute. Everybody else, we're going to play Heimland. We'll see you guys after this on the Tampa Morgue. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
And that was Heimland with, the song title that he told us before we went into it, because I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Found out a lot about the band. Like we actually didn't know much about Heimland, so it was cool guys.
Yep, and they stole my band name. That was.
I knew that was going to be when I heard Contorted. I was like, oh man, I'm like, is Ed going to sit through this? And it was entertaining.
Yeah, that was funny. I thought.
Yeah, the guy does a podcast now. If he tells us the podcast is called the Tampa Morgue, then we know something's
exactly.
Then something's not right.
I'm splitting some wigs after that.
Yeah, we know Eric was doing podcasts, but no, we definitely want to thank the guys from Heimland. Looking forward to the new record. Appreciate them for giving us their time. And Ed, episode number 90.
10 closer.
10 closer to what we talked about last week. Doesn't really mean a damn thing, but it feels like you got somewhere, right?
Nothing. The next chapter.
Yeah. So it's 100 episodes. It's pretty crazy, man. If you actually think about it, because we've been here every week pretty much. So, and whoever, I wouldn't even announce at the beginning of the show, which usually we had some really good ideas from, we heard from Austin from Vacuous Depths about some intro stuff, because we're always not intro even, but like the ads for past episodes. Cause like last episode, I think I read for like 5 minutes, like all the people, not even all the people we had on, maybe like 75% of some of the guests we've had on the show. So we had some really good ideas, but we didn't even mention the beginning of the show. But anybody, if you haven't heard us before and you want to go listen to the old episodes, they're all on
Spotify,
most of them they're on Spotify,
Apple,
yeah,
YouTube, anywhere podcasts are.
Yes, Ed, you got shit falling down behind you. Well, everybody who can't see right now, Ed has his studio is falling down behind him. It's like you couldn't make this up. Where Ed's putting his house. Dude, so Ed is having some technical difficulties. I thought the rats were coming after you on the episode, actually, when I saw the stuff moving behind you, Ed.
No, they're not, but my shit's about to crumble here.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Ed is having some studio problems right now. The walls are falling down behind him. But, you can check out all the old episodes. We got a shitload of guests. I'm not going to go through them all, but guys like Dawn of the Dead from Nunslaughter, Vincent Crowley from Acheron, Ryan Waste from Bat, Jeff Manis from Venom, Chris Reifert from Autopsy, King Fally from Deceased, and the list goes on. There's, like I said, we're at episode number 90, so about 80 of those are with guests and stuff. So, Ed, how you hanging?
I'm good.
This is when you wish it was on video. Right, yeah, now. Man. When I saw the house coming, when I saw the stuff coming from behind you.
Yeah, the whole thing's about to come down. It's all right.
Oh man. So we're gonna cut this short.
Of the rats coming to fucking take.
I thought it was a rats, dude, attacking you from behind. I saw the thing moving in slow motion. I was like, do I tell him? Because the reaction, if it falls, will be even greater than the anger that will come out of Ed.
But it's all good.
Yeah, so we're gonna get out of here early. But we want to thank Heimland for hanging out. We'll be back next week. I'm sure most likely we're going to have a guest. We're just trying to figure it all out right now. But you could always go to the Instagram to keep in touch with everything that we're doing. That's the most updated place. We have been updating Facebook, but Facebook is just a dead place for us because we don't pay for ad space and stuff. But the thetampamorgue@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us there with any questions. And Ed, I'm going to let you get out of here before your house comes down behind us.
Crazy.
Behind you.
Crazy.
So I'm telling you, I wish it was on video right now. But Ed, anything else?
No. I'm done. No. I'm out.
Yeah. He's out. But everybody have a good. The sky has fallen. The rats are attacking. But again, we appreciate everybody who listens. We'll catch you next week on the Tampa Morgue. Peace.
See ya.
This is King Fally from Deceased, and you just listened to another episode of the Tampa Morgue. Tune in next week and stay fucking dead.